That's Norsworthy and former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn.
Beautiful morning, yeah, the sun in my morning, babe. Nothing in the water.
We welcome you in on this Wednesday afternoon, March 23rd, 2022, and we welcome, well, the eyes of the basketball world on Memphis, Tennessee today with the all-day, around-the-clock coverage by ESPN. I think it is fantastic. And as I said the other day, you get that kind of coverage in late March, you've earned it. It's been something that you attained through success. You might get them in October or November when they're still trying to find their way and sort out which way the NBA season may go. They're here now for a reason because they know they're going to be back in a few weeks. Not with us today. Be back on Monday. Gabe Kuhn co-hosting the show. Bryant Dacus been co-hosting this week. Normally our producer. He's out today with some University of Memphis duties he has to take care of for upcoming graduation in May. So producing, Darian Newsom pulling the long day after producing the Grind Time with Peter and Anthony, and co-hosting with me, Jay Morgan Harder, and you've been here all day.
That's right. It was musical chairs we're playing here, it seems like, with you, Brett.
I love it.
It's fun. I'm excited to be here doing it with you. I'm excited to be with Darian. This is the first time I've ever been on air with Darian before.
Welcome. How'd it do, fellas? How'd it do?
Same for me on air. I think I can speak that we're pretty tight off there.
Absolutely.
And pretty good friends, but I'm glad to be with you guys, and that Laker hat you're rocking, I like it.
Oh, it's covering a thing. It's covering a thing, that's all.
You and me both.
Jay Morgan Harder, good to be with you, and we've got a lot today, and we've got a lot of basketball. I told you a few weeks ago when you would be with us this week. This is a great week, from 68 to 64 to 32 to 16, and now here we are, Sweet 16 week, and your alma mater, Texas Tech, right in the mix.
Still playing hard, still playing well. I can't say enough about Coach Adams and Coach Mark Adams, and I believed in him from the beginning, and I feel like the national media is a little bit still out on him, but I've said from a while, you might be surprised to find nothing against Chris Beard, but he was really the brains behind the organization. People finally heard who Chris Beard was when Mark Adams went to Little Rock and became his assistant, and that's the year they made that run in the tournament. So not that Chris Beard's a bad recruiter or a bad coach at all, but Mark Adams has really been the brains behind this organization for a little while, and I'm finally glad he's getting his credit. Texas Tech still can make some noise, although they got a pretty tough road ahead, I would say, too.
Yeah,
but so does everybody in the Sweet 16.
And Texas Tech, they play Duke, and so they're standing in the way of the story. And whether you're a Duke partisan, a K liker, a K disliker, a Duke hater, whatever it is, that would be a great story for him to go out like that. And Tom Izzo in Michigan State, I thought they were going to come back and beat them on Sunday. But for Texas Tech, they stand in the way of the story that a lot of people want to see and that a lot of people don't want to see, but it would be good TV. I don't know Mark Adams, but I know Chris Beard well, and I didn't know Mark Adams when he was in Little Rock with Beard, but I knew Chris pretty well. In fact, the Grizzlies early season, and for Chris Beard and one of his student managers, kind of a GA type, and his dad and another friend, I got them tickets here for LeBron, so they love that. So it got me in pretty good with Beard. But I do know of Mark Adams, though, way back in the TAC at Texas Pan American in the Transatlantic Athletic Conference, and they would play ULR then. Lon Kruger had coached at Texas Pan American. That might have been Lon Kruger's first, head coaching job after playing at Kansas State. And then he had some tough years and kind of had to refashion himself. Got to his beloved Lubbock, and here he is.
He was at Pan American right before he went to Howard College, which is a junior college in Texas, won a national championship with Jay Crowder, who has had an illustrious NBA career since going to play for Buzz Williams up there too. And so yeah.
A lifer.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of crummy jobs. A lot of
That's the way it goes.
Not just riding on the bus, driving the darn thing at a lot of places.
Absolutely. And not to say that, you should be handed everything from the get-go, but he took a national championship program in junior college basketball, albeit, and ended up going to work for Coach Smith and took honestly a huge step down to be a director of basketball operations for him at Texas Tech, just to be his alma mater. His son, exactly. His son was on the team, and so he got to be with his son. But, I mean, an unbelievable story. I can't say enough good things, and I just want to, I just like talking about his story because it's such a good one, not only if you go to school at Texas Tech, but for college athletics. Yeah. It's all about big money and everyone, NIL deals, everything. It's nice to have a genuinely nice college story, a guy that loves the school he's coaching at.
Everybody's kind of cutting a deal in college sports, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Everybody's after a new deal or to make some deal better. It's always kind of something to be gained, and he's gained it the old-fashioned way by winning. Right. So Texas Tech and Duke, that'll be tomorrow night. That'll be the other game in San Francisco. Arkansas and Gonzaga will be the first game. Here are the Sweet 16 teams and their number of Sweet 16 appearances. So I'm starting over there, kind of left side of the bracket in the West. Gonzaga, this is their 12th Sweet 16. Arkansas, 16 bids for Arkansas, 8 for Texas Tech, 32 for Duke, 35 for North Carolina, 36 for UCLA, 13 for Purdue. Of course, the first one for St. Peter's, 20 for Arizona and Villanova, Kansas with 31, Providence with 6, Iowa State with 6, and Miami making their 4th Sweet 16 appearance.
I mean, Miami, honestly, is one of the most unique stories to me. Jim Larinaga, another coach that I just don't think gets enough credit because like the conversation we were having about how greatness is judged based on championships you win. And Miami's a tough program to win at, even in basketball, but he's done a really good job at building a solid program. I'm sure I know he used to graduate a lot of guys. Who knows how many graduate anymore, but a really good program. And it's good to see Miami getting a lot of love in a tough ACC this year too, no less.
Yeah, and for the big matchup, that North Carolina UCLA, that's as blue as the blood gets, 35 and 36 respectively for those two, and a lot of championships. And Hubert Davis against Mick Cronin. Mick Cronin, I don't know what choice he was at UCLA. Yeah. It's a little bit like I don't know what choice Eric Musselman was at Arkansas, but they got it right.
But it works.
No kidding. I mean, and honestly, if I let you retake who was your national champion before all this started?
Gonzaga.
Okay, so Gonzaga's still there. So if I let you repick now at the Sweet 16, you would stick with Gonzaga.
Yeah,
then.
I would, and even with more gusto now because I think I think they kind of had their near-death experience against the Tigers, and that will serve them well. I think you need that kind of game.
In that first round game, they were tied at I think I've mentioned this all the time, but they were tied at halftime in that game too. Just maybe a shock to the system a little bit, get them going. Not always a bad thing, and even more of a shock to the system when you play the Tigers at a 9 seed.
Yeah, my Monday night, my finals intact, Gonzaga and Arizona. Everything else, a lot of red X's.
Yeah, I
almost ran out of the highlighter.
Yeah, my pen went out the first round, I'm afraid, so. If I could repick, though, I would because I picked Tennessee. If I could embarrass myself, I had Tennessee and Kentucky in the national championship, and Kentucky obviously went on the first day. But if I could repick, I would probably take Gonzaga, too, although Arizona is a team I really like a lot. They're competitive, and one of my buddies texted me this not too long ago, it's just a good omen when you're a Wildcat and you have an illustrious coach that built up a program. You have a new coach come in. Tubby Smith, Wildcats at Kentucky. Brand new coach wins the national championship right off the back. So it's a good omen maybe for the Arizona Wildcats.
And Tommy, they trust. Houston, did you trust them here? I had Houston to this point.
I did not trust Houston.
I had them in the Sweet 16.
I think I had them losing.
Darian's my witness.
I know I did. I actually rolled with you. You said last week that the Cougars actually probably got awakened. We awakened a sleeping giant, and I told those two guys that I was on the show with prior to this, Peter and Anthony, that, and they just laughed at me. But look at Houston now.
I thought that Sunday afternoon thumping that the Tigers gave them at FedEx Forum Sunday morning was good for them.
Yeah, it really was, though, especially on the road. You can explain away a road loss, especially the kind of crowd that Memphis had that night. Great for the team and the long run. Sometimes you just need that motivation and that push. But honestly, the guy for me, and he's been really good. He's a senior, so everyone knows about him. But Fabian White, at his size, how
Yes.
the way he plays, undersized like that. You look for that in the NBA even. Not to say he'll have an illustrious NBA career by any means, but that
Can
is
help
just
somebody.
absolute.
Yes.
I mean, to do that at 6'8", I would take him against a 7-footer. I don't care who's on the floor. I love watching him play.
J-Mo, there was one thing that stood out when he played against the Tigers. When he, what's that? Alo was taking the ball out of bounds, and you saw Fabian just get wide, but he was smiling.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a killer with a smile on his face. And I was
watch
looking
those
at him.
cats.
I was like, oh, my God, that guy is scary. That guy is scary. Because he was putting a hurt on the Tigers and did it with a smile on his face.
That's
So,
right.
Hey.
So ESPN in town today, as I've said it all week, it's great. It's great for the attention, for our town, for us, for what we know about us. We know the real story, and I think it's a very enlightening one, a very good one. But just as when the first time Game Day came to Oxford in 2014, not as much this year for when Game Day returned for the Texas A&M game. I don't know the proper word, but it's not offended. It just did a little something to me. And I told you earlier, Jay Morgan, there's a lovely, she's no longer there, but there was a lovely person in ESPN Public Relations named Carrie Potts. And she was Miss Game Day. She ran the show. She did everything but pick the site locations. And she instrumental figure, great person. I can't brag on her enough. But she tweeted that Sunday night after the announcement was made, hey, Oxford, we're coming down there. We've heard about you. We want some of that good Southern hospitality. You better treat us right. It flew all over me. I tweeted back at her. I probably shouldn't. I tweeted back at her, Carrie, you're going to be treated fabulously like everyone else would be.
Anytime they come.
And that they are. And the same with this day. I like us rolling out the red carpet for us. But I think we're a hell of a good place tomorrow after they go home.
I agree. It's kind of like you don't need them for the validation kind of thing, especially if you look at it from the NBA, the Grizzlies perspective. They don't need the validation of ESPN. They're the second best team in the West right now, maybe the second most impressive team in the league this year. Well, certainly in the West, behind the Suns. So playing, really, they don't need ESPN's validation to come to town. Now, obviously, ESPN wants to build that up as though, they've always – Stephen A. Smith said it today. He said, well, they called for us to come to town. Like, they're doing just fine before you guys came to town, too. But nonetheless,
and
it's
I'm a
great
Stephen
to
A. guy.
Right, but nonetheless, it's still great to have the publicity here and everything. And it's just going to be a good environment tonight, with or without Ja. Honestly, even without Ja Morant in the lineup, good for the Grizzlies. It gives Taylor Jenkins a chance to get some recognition that he deserves. It gives Desmond Bane, a most improved player candidate, in my opinion, a chance. I disagree with this pretty adamantly, but people think Jaren might be a defensive player of the year, at least first team all defense candidate. It gives him a chance to shine too, if in fact that's the case. So it's good. And Tyus Jones, honestly, who's coming up on a
Coach
contract
of the year
here.
In the mix too.
Exactly. Coach of the year, Taylor
Exactly
Jenkins.
the year in the mix.
Maybe so. So I think it's a good opportunity, even with Ja out, to just shed some light on how well this operation's going down here in Memphis.
Welcome to town. We're glad you're here. We're going to be here tomorrow. We think it's a great place after you come and go, and hope you're back a lot in April, May, and maybe even into June for an NBA championship. 901-360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line. That's the AutoZone text line. Get in the zone at AutoZone at 3:30. We will visit with Alex Kuhn, the brother of the co-host of this show, and he co-hosts a show on KGYM in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We'll talk Big Ten with him. They have two remaining, but also a team he covers very closely, not from the Big Ten, from the Big 12, the Iowa State Cyclones. They remain in the tournament. 4 o'clock from Blue Ribbon Magazine. As we always do, we visit with Blake Lovell. At this time of year, we will talk with him about the college basketball and about the really poor showing for the SEC last weekend. At 4:45, we're going to go pretty in-depth on the 4 years of Penny Hardaway and compare and contrast that to the first 4 years of John Calipari. I've heard a lot of people say they're very similar. We'll see. We're going to compare it in the first 4 years of Josh Pastner. Again, I've heard people want to compare that. So we're going to compare that for you at 5 o'clock from Sports Illustrated and College Basketball Central. Kevin Sweeney, he'll join us. And then at 5:30, we'll see what's trending in the world of sports, catch up on breaking news if some occurs, and it always does. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up the day with Taco Bell Crunch Time. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, you will, and they'll make sure of it at Lexus of Memphis. They'll get you one of those beautiful Lexus cars by the close of business today. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-334-9673. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
All right, I'll give my top story of the day. Warriors lose in Orlando last night. A tough one. Draymond Green, for the score was 94-90, got outscored 29-16 in the fourth quarter after outscoring them by almost 20 in the third quarter. But nonetheless, after the game, Draymond Green comes out and says it's embarrassing. No disrespect to Orlando, but that was embarrassing. They're the worst team in the league. And tonight they play again, and so it's going to be a tough road, but really embarrassing. Jordan Poole, though, however, has really stepped up big in their absence, but all in all, just a bad effort last night by the Golden State Warriors.
It really was, and that took the Grizzlies' magic number to 9. With the Grizzlies win tonight, a Golden State loss, that's to 7. Tomorrow night against Indiana could make it 6, and then next Monday night, with no matter what happens the rest of the weekend, if it just held at that could lop it down to 4 on Monday night against Golden State. This is really breaking the Grizzlies' way. My top story, great day for Memphis. Welcome to town. Sincerely, thank you, ESPN. Glad you're here, showcasing to the world what we know, a great sports town. Mm-hmm. I defended it before we ever went major league with the Grizzlies. And, we'd had professional, but we'd never had major league. But I said it when we were in the Western Conference Finals. I said it the first time the Grizzlies got to the NBA playoffs. This is a great sports town, and we've known it. Tonight will be the tip of the iceberg for what could happen in May and June. You think the eyes of the basketball world on us tonight, the spotlight will be even brighter as the days and weeks pass, especially with what the Grizzlies are doing. And all these showcase games, it's because we have a big-time star.
No doubt. It's telling enough that it's an even line tonight. No one's favored in the Nets-Grizzlies game tonight.
Pick 'em.
Shows you how much they trust the Grizzlies even without Ja.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day also pertains to the Warriors, but news that came out today, they play Miami tonight. They're still, like we say, you just mentioned, fighting with the Grizzlies. Lose in Orlando last night. Now they play the Heat tonight, and they're going to rest everybody. So they're playing without all their players tonight. So I thought for sure they'd want to win at least one of those back-to-back, but it seems like they're throwing in the towel tonight against the top team in the East.
It's the time of year for a lot of different lineups.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
You got to check the scorecard because and this is the time of year, and I hate it for fans that may be buying tickets just to see Ja, whether it's a home or road. But this is the time of year that you can buy a ticket and your star's not playing.
Luckily, so far, that hasn't been the case for the Grizzlies because they still haven't earned anything yet, so they play like they've got everything on the line with every game still, though. My
not top story, the tarp debacle yesterday by the Redbirds. It was a bad look. We've always known, though, baseball, by the very nature of it, played outdoors, you can be rained out. You can have cancellations. You can have postponements. But one thing still coming out of the pandemic, and we are still coming out of it, even with the new variant and the old variants and all the different things on the health front. One thing that has been really sad, we couldn't stop the shutdown. It probably had to occur around 2 years ago at this time. But we've also been too casual in the restart with is it on or is it off? And I just don't think for the ticket buying public, for the people that are working hard to go to games, like what occurred in Nashville with the Tennessee and the Tigers game right before Christmas. A lot of people from East Tennessee went to Nashville and from West Tennessee went to Nashville. And you get up there in an hour before tip, there's no game. Yesterday, a lot of people drove up from North Mississippi and from Oxford and around to get to Memphis and no game. But you can understand that with baseball. But everybody else, we got to start knowing tonight, 6:30, that ball's going in the air at tip. And we've gotten a little casual with that around sports.
Certainly in basketball, too. But That's the nature of it too. Honestly, luckily we still have sports. We have still some players in baseball that take pride in playing. And honestly, Jaren Jackson Jr. is a player. I was just talking to Anthony Sane earlier today. Played all but one game this season. So there's still guys that I think.
Remember when that was a question mark?
I'm telling you what, seriously, he's almost played. He almost played as many games this year as he's played in his entire career.
So you don't think he's in the defensive player running?
No, I don't at all. I mean, but he's an excellent rim protector. I don't mean to discredit.
Who is your defensive player of the year then?
I don't really. I love DeJounte Murray as a great defensive player, but in terms of, I really would have to dive into statistics of what's happened this season. But just in terms of great perimeter defensive players, he's got to be.
Has
one
Rudy
of them for me.
Gobert played enough?
I don't think Rudy Gobert deserved to win defensive player ever.
Oh, really?
I just don't think that he is a good enough defender. Jokic goes out and scores like 46 points against him pretty much every time they play against each other. So to me, it doesn't seem like a player like that just doesn't guard well just because he blocks shots well. There's more to defense than that, in my opinion.
Now, Jokic does that against a lot of people, though.
That's an excellent point as well. But there's also some guys that Embiid, for one, that he'll match up with, and they'll go back and forth.
Darren Newsom, before 6 o'clock, we're going to talk St. Louis restaurants.
Oh, absolutely. And Brendan J. Moore, I actually wanted to give you one. How about Mikal Bridges? Even though Jaren is my number
It's
one.
another good one. Played 50 minutes the other night.
Absolutely. Mikal Bridges would be my number one if not for Jaren. Jaren is about 12 blocks away from breaking the Grizzly records of Pau Gasol.
Wow.
You think after playing 50 minutes, the agent called the next day and said, maintenance day, no more of that.
They got 3 nights off, luckily, built into the schedule.
He may still want that. We've got a lot in store for you today. Again, Alex Kuhn about 3:30, Blake Lovell about 4, Kevin Sweeney about 5 o'clock. Most all of that will be on the college basketball front. The laps we've had from the late game Sunday, and that was a really late game, until 6 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm ready to get back to college basketball.
I'm ready to get tipped, but I know you're not an IT guy, but Vanderbilt basketball, I got a little fix last night, but it's just not the same as the NCAA tournament.
Vanderbilt got beat by Xavier?
By Xavier, yeah. It was a great game, though. It came down to the last possession. Xavier turned it over in the backcourt. Vanderbilt had a shot. Scottie Pippen Jr. had a 3-point opportunity and just didn't get it, didn't catch iron. So, tough game.
Tomorrow night in the NCAA tournament, Arkansas will play the first game, local time, 6:09. We have that action tomorrow night, right?
I believe so. We have been carrying the NCAA tournament.
Ole Miss on baseball on Friday at 6:29 tomorrow night. Michigan and Villanova. That first game is the CBS, big CBS game. That'll be Nance and
Billy Packer.
No, Billy Packer. Bill Rafter.
Rafter. That's what I meant. Rafter, not Billy.
And Grant Hill. No, Billy Packer's been done. One of the biggest patoots ever, too. Billy Packer was. Michigan Villanova will be the second game, 6:29 on TBS. Texas Tech and Duke, 8:39 on CBS. And Houston. No, that's where Nance and Rafter will be.
8:30.
They'll be wherever Mike Krzyzewski.
Oh, that's right.
But that's where Arkansas. They're with Arkansas. That's right. So I was right and wrong. Houston and Arizona in the last game of the night, 8:59. Houston and Kelvin Sampson going up against Tommy Lloyd in his first year. And we talked about it yesterday. Can you be a great coach without winning a national championship? Kelvin Sampson proves yes, you can be.
Jim Larrañaga as well.
Jim Larrañaga is a great coach.
I love Rick Barnes too, but I think a lot of people would argue with me about that today.
I think Rick Barnes is a great coach. He's had tournament trouble. Someday, will that keep him out of a basketball Hall of Fame?
You know, the good thing about the Basketball Hall of Fame is they'll let anybody into the Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm afraid.
Last one. How about Leonard Hamilton?
Leonard Hamilton's a great coach.
Really is.
And I think on his way to being a great coach is Eric Musselman. Now, he's still got some back of the basketball card to fill out for sure. But last year you got Scott Drew getting his first title. Now he fills out the rest of the resume. He's there with the title and the rest of the resume.
Yeah, but you get the title, everyone recognizes it immediately. You know, it's the small details when you have to compare without those accolades that makes it tough, I think.
That the tougher ones are the ones that are titleist, because we know in golf you cannot be considered great without a major. Mm-hmm. But you can be considered great in college basketball coaching without a major, without a title.
Absolutely.
Can you in college football?
It's tougher too
because of shorter season.
It really is, but you know, nowadays you would have to think so too because of the domination of Nick Saban. You know, it can't just be
taking the fun.
Exactly, it can't just be that he's the only good football coach out there. And also, you know, the landscape has changed so much in college football. It used to be you could judge by bowl titles too, because not every team gets the
bowls.
Just don't matter anymore the same way.
Significance that they did. They matter, but not as much as they once did. There was a time in college football you could be a great coach in national championship lists. Grant Taft at Baylor was that. There were other coaches that were that. Pat Dye never won a national championship, and he was great. Johnny Majors won one at Pitt, but didn't at Tennessee. Jackie Sherrill never won a national championship, but he was great.
Yeah, I think, and also, think about other ways you get accolades. I was just thinking about accolades you could do. Rose Bowl champions, if you're like a Big Ten head coach or something like that. Obviously, if you're winning Rose Bowls, though, you're probably contending for national championships anyway, too.
Not always, because 0 times national championship coach, Bo Schembechler. 0 times.
How many times did he win a Rose Bowl?
Enough.
Plenty of times.
And was great.
And was a legend. At a certain point, it's if you have something named after you on the football field that you're a great football coach, right? Johnny Majors and wherever you go.
Everywhere you go. There's naming of stuff. That our lineup again today, Alex Kuhn at 3:30. He'll be coming up next. Blake Lovell at 4. Kevin Sweeney at 5 o'clock, and a lot in between, like the Tigers penny comparison over 4 years. We want your input on that as well at 901-360-8255. That's the AutoZone phone and text line. Get in the zone at AutoZone. Alex Kuhn, he's next.
It's Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, presented by Tito's Vodka, from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Service is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saving Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready for those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week and we'll perform your heating system tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
The next time you're driving into work or just getting out of the house to grab some breakfast or lunch and you see that fast food drive-through line and you know at the end of that is nothing but disappointment, well, pass right by and head to Sunrise on Jefferson. Don't settle for food that tastes just like the cardboard container it came in. Take yourself and anyone else that happens to be in the car to Sunrise and enjoy fast, fresh food made just for you. Stop settling and start enjoying breakfast and lunch. Enjoy some Sunrise.
Are you ready for the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event? It's on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Need 41 MPG highway with gas prices that keep soaring? We got you covered in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $189 a month or $14,999. 5 seats, 27 MPG combined. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. $299 a month or $23,037. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander with 7-passenger seating and 27 MPG combined. $359 a month or $26,998. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett got it at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months, 500 military rebate, G4, NHF 03943, MSRP 16985 Sport, NU 006-786, MSRP 25407, Outlander NZO 6388, MSRP 292, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me.
Produced by Darian Newsom, this is Sports Time. Brett Norsworthy with you. No Gabe Kuhn this week. He'll be back on Monday. Co-hosting with me today, Jay Morgan Harder, and I sure appreciate that. Always we visit with Alex Kuhn, the big brother of Gabe Kuhn, and we're glad to have Alex with us today. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Alex Kuhn 523. He co-hosts the Todd Brommel Camp Show in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Alex, how has been the fallout for Big Ten and for Iowa particularly this week in the Hawkeye State?
Yeah, it's been an interesting week for Hawkeye Nation, and I think that the week that they had, not only with the men losing in the first round to Richmond after winning the Big Ten championship, and the drought of not making a Sweet 16 since 1999 continuing, and then the women, after winning the Big Ten title, lose in the second round. Caitlin Clark as a 2-seed to 7-seeded Creighton. They don't even get to the Sweet 16. So it's a very cruel ending to a season that was just abrupt. Everybody got their hopes up again. Guys, the last team that made a Sweet 16 at Iowa, we had Kent McCausland, who was their shooting guard, on prior to the start of the tournament. Kent is now 46 years old. That is the last time Iowa has made a Sweet 16 in basketball. They got a perfect draw to do it.
Sure did.
And they just did not show up in any way, shape, or form.
You think it makes him older? It makes Joe Barry Carroll in 1980 seem like another lifetime. Well, it was another lifetime.
Yeah, it pretty much was. But this one I think did kind of permanent damage to the psyche of a fan base, and I'm just what happens the next time an Iowa basketball team gets close?
It's like Tennessee. They're very jaded. Show me, don't tell me.
Yeah, and I think that it's sort of the same thing at Tennessee, and Illinois is in that same boat as well. But it doesn't seem to matter what the circumstances are. They're just not able to get there. And you think about Iowa State, on the other hand, who won 2 games a year ago, won 20 this year, gets a first-round draw against a team that just lost their coach, gets a second-round draw against what we all thought was a pretty weak 3 seed in the Wisconsin Badgers. They don't score 60 points in either game, and here they are in the Sweet 16 within a 3-point spread of Miami. They have a shot to get to the Elite Eight. So it's also frustrating when you see Michigan, who has what was supposedly an off year for them. They only won 17 games during the regular season. They barely make the tournament, and it just seems like they can sleepwalk their way to the Sweet 16. But a program like Iowa can't get there, even with their best teams.
Well, you mentioned Iowa State. Let me ask you about that. obviously you're a Big Ten guy, but being Iowa and Iowa-centric, Iowa State, a team that has really struggled in a lot of instances on offense this year, and even in the tournament, I think scored 44 points the game they were eliminated in. Do you think Iowa State, obviously Miami is a game that's Miami's playing good ball, but do you think Iowa State can continue a run going forward, or would you be very surprised if you see them win a couple more games?
I could see them winning one more game, and that would obviously be against Miami. I still think Miami's probably the favorite in that one. That would probably set up a rematch against Kansas, unless Providence were to beat Kansas. Look, I don't expect it because, as you said, offensively, we'll be honest, they're not very good offensively.
No, they're not.
And you watch them play, and I watched that entire LSU game on a flight, and it was painful to watch that basketball game. I mean, and the thing that Iowa State does well is, no matter how ugly of an offensive possession that they have, they will get back on defense and they will harass you, and they'll throw you out of a rhythm too, because not only are you guarding for the entire shot clock, but now you got Tyrese Hunter in your face, Gabe Kalsher in your face, Isaiah Brockington in your face, and it's difficult. So I do like Miami, especially if they don't turn the basketball over. But guys, this Iowa State team did not win a single game a year ago in the Big 12. Yeah. They won 2 games overall, and they flipped the script, got into the Sweet 16. But yeah, if I were a betting man, I would tend to think that maybe the clock strikes midnight on this Cinderella run that has been inspiring, but I just don't think they have enough offense to contend with the big boys.
It's been since 2000 for a Big Ten team to win it all, and that was Tom Izzo and Michigan State. It's only been 2 since 1987. You go back to Bobby Knight in Indiana winning it all with the Keith Smart baseline jumper. So juxtapose that with this comparison, Alex. Who had the bigger falling flat first weekend, the SEC or the Big Ten? And I have pounded the SEC this week and will continue to.
That's I guess pretty tough.
Well, 2 beats 1. You got 2 Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16. You only have 1, but 9 beats 6 on bids.
That's right.
Yeah, and the first round losses from the Big Ten and the near first round losses. Illinois nearly lost to Chattanooga. Yeah. They probably should have lost to Chattanooga. I'll say the Big Ten. No. Let me turn that around. Let me say the SEC. Kentucky.
I think it is the SEC because of Kentucky. It's Kentucky.
Yeah. I mean, I have no words for that performance. And once again, you can tell when a team in an NCAA tournament, I don't know what it is. Well, it's the neutral site, the bright lights. I have no clue. But there's always a high seed every year, or a few of them actually, and there were plenty of them this year, that just it's almost like they forget who they are. They just can't get any rhythm going on the offensive end. They make mistake after mistake on the defensive end. And that's what we saw from Kentucky. They were never comfortable.
And even got it to overtime, though. And everybody thinking in overtime, okay, Big will win. Yeah. They'll drop a house on them, and couldn't shake them and could not do anything against that mostly matchup principle zone that St. Peter's threw at them.
Yeah, they really could not do anything. And it was the same dilemma for Iowa against Richmond, where they've been rolling and they've been playing really well against good competition in their own conference, and for whatever reason, the newness of facing a different opponent, it was like both of those teams got into the game. They thought they were going to steamroll their opponent, and when the opponent punched back, it's like they just didn't know what to do.
It was almost like, how dare you punch back?
Yeah, and that certainly happens, and that's why I know a lot of people were picking Arkansas to lose in the first round. I think Arkansas is a is not going to be Eric Musselman's best team, but
No.
they get by with what they have.
That's next year.
But they know how to
with Nick
take a
Smith.
punch and respond.
They do because
that's-
he's a brawler.
Yes, and he knows his teams at Nevada were always in those types of situations, those stressful last 2-minute situations, which are everything in the NCAA tournament. They experienced it last year, and they didn't play great basketball by any stretch of the imagination in the first 2 rounds, but they were able to take a punch and respond, and we saw the teams in the first round that just weren't able to do that.
Excluding St. Peter's, you mentioned Michigan, too, a minute ago, and I exclude St. Peter's because obviously it's a huge Cinderella story. Everybody's surprised by what happened. But you mentioned Michigan a minute ago. I wonder, is that the team that you're most surprised to see in the Final 16, or, juxtapose that against the North Carolina that not a lot of people expected to be in the Sweet 16 either? What's your biggest surprise, excluding St. Peter's, so far of the 16 remaining teams? I guess 15 remaining teams then.
We kind of hit on Iowa State a little bit. I think that they're certainly a team that it's very surprising to see them in this position. You mentioned North Carolina, and then I actually thought Iowa was going to be a team that could get to this position, and here Providence is kind of coasting through the first couple rounds. Michigan, shockingly, I have my bracket in front of me that I filled out. I have Michigan in this spot.
Wow.
I have Michigan.
I had Colorado State beating them, Alex.
Yeah, and so did Gabe. We were having this discussion the night before. We had a little bit of a back and forth or a mini argument about this, and he's like, Colorado State, they have pros. They have pros on their team. Their top 2 guys are really good, and I'm just telling him 2 things. The Big Ten, when you see that double-digit seed Big Ten team facing either a mid-major or a low-major team, pick the Big Ten team. That's where they do their most damage.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to Indiana losing to St. Mary's, it was like 5 in a row where a double-digit seed from the Big Ten won in the first round. And also, Michigan just finds a way because they're always talented. No matter how bad they look during the regular season, no matter how much you think they are down and out, they are the most talented. And at this point, they have a system in place that is now over 2 coaches that finds good but not elite talent and develops them over 2 or 3 years instead of getting the one and done. And because of that, I don't count them out. But they're going to be going up against a school that does it a little bit better than them coming up in their next contest tomorrow. And I expect that Villanova gets by them.
Alex, 2 things, then we got to let you go, and we sure appreciate your time today. The first national college basketball take I had in November, and Gabe can confirm this. It was after that first kind of weekend of games, and then those multi-team exemption tournaments start. And I came in and said, have you seen the Michigan bigs? They would look like an NBA team walking through an airport, but their guards are pure slop. I stay by that. But how many of those teams how many teams could you describe that way around college basketball? There's a bunch out there. The other thing, for years I defended John Calipari as, he should have more than just one. He should have 2 or 3. Arguably, we know he should have, could have had one here. He had Marcus Camby. You could say he should have had one with him. Now I'm completely on the other side of that. I think he's fortunate to have one. That the outlier was when he finally won one. The regression to the mean is him coming up short.
Yeah, he's in an interesting spot now because you wonder what the identity of his program is going to be moving forward. Now, and I don't think that they're in any danger of being a team that misses out on a bunch of NCAA tournaments like they did a year ago. But they've tried a bunch of different ways, and the landscape of college basketball is ever changing. And we've seen our fair share of flops from John Calipari in that first round situation. So I really don't know what the future holds for him. Although I don't expect them to completely fall off the table. This is Kentucky after all.
Not off the table, but I don't think he ever doubles his national championship total. I think it stays at 1.
I think that's a fair prediction.
I think it stays at 1. Alex Kuhn, have fun. Keep an eye on little brother. We'll visit with him tomorrow, and we'll see him next Monday.
Talk to you next week, guys.
You got it. Thank you. Alex Kuhn with us from KGYM in Cedar Rapids on all things Big Ten and college sports, and it's fun to check in with him. When we come back, we wrap up hour number 1. You're listening to Sports Time.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Get in the swing of things. Grab your friends, your clients, your employees, and go enjoy everything you love about Topgolf in a luxury suite while at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Topgolf Swing Suite is an immersive social experience offering guests a luxury private lounge to enjoy Erling Jensen's extraordinary food and beverage service, all while playing a selection of games in a one-of-a-kind simulation day. Topgolf Swing Suites are great for work outings, celebrations, or just getting together. It's fun for the whole family. It's fun for golfers and non-golfers alike. They have more than just golf. They have soccer, baseball, zombie dodgeball, football, and more. Located at 5069 Sanderlin, adjacent to the Doubletree East Memphis. Check us out at SwingSuiteMemphis.com or call us at 901-58-SWING. Again, that's 901-58-SWING at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Book your suite today.
I'm with Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Shipping Kitchen. Pat, how are things downtown at the Shipping Kitchen?
Thanks, Brett. Wow, what a year it's been. 2020 threw a lot of changes at us. One of them was our great Memphis customers figured out how to ship our ribs all over the country.
Pat, we know you ship your ribs and shoulder all over the country. What are some of the other popular packages?
One of our most popular packages that's come out in the last year or two has been the barbecue nacho box. Well, our nacho box is an all-Memphis box. It includes our pork shoulder. It includes our friends at Poncho's cheese dip. Also includes Brim's chips, Felicia Suzanne's peppers, a bottle of our barbecue sauce, a bottle of our famous seasoning, some reheating tips, wet naps, cook hats, and you can even throw in a box of Dinstall's Cashew Crunch for the sweet tooth.
And Pat, this ships overnight just like the rest.
Brett, it sure does.
Where do we order this great food?
You can get these boxes by visiting our website. Go to www.hogsfly.com.
In the Alley in Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis since 1948.
Looking for some action? Sports gambling is legal in Tennessee. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Go to Action247.com. Register and place your bets. Are you a sharp or a first-time bettor? Action 24/7 has you covered. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action 24/7. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Yes, it's still winter. Yes, it's still cold outside. But Family Leisure wants you to start thinking towards spring and maybe even summer. So Family Leisure's pool and patio sale is happening right now. Come to Family Leisure to get started on your outdoor living space. Yes, I know it's cold and dreary outside, but this is the perfect time to think ahead. Pools are in stock and ready to go. Brand new 2022 patio furniture is hitting the floor each and every day. In-stock hot tubs are ready for delivery. You can get fantastic deals on play gyms, trampolines, grills, and outdoor kitchens. I know you are already looking forward to spring and summer, and so does Family Leisure. But if you sit on the couch too long, the best deals will be gone. So don't wait until it's too late. Stop thinking about spring and summer. Start planning for it. The pool and patio sale is in season right now. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's Whitten at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
What's happening Mid-South? Are you ready for a new ride from Gossett Kia on the Pike? We got it covered. Take your pick, 2022 Kia Soul LX or 2022 Kia Forte LSX. We got it at $199 for 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing. And let your adventure begin in 2022 Kia Sorento LX. $299 for 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You got to make your move today to Gossett Kia on the Pike. Come see Bobby J. He'd love to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold in 7/18/2252. MSRP $20,960. Forte NE $461,574. MSRP $20,770. Sorrento $899,0199. MSRP $32,120. Includes all rebates and incentives. $695 PF. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/4/2022 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Thank you, Darian Newsom. We appreciate you so much. Great job as always, and you're pulling the long day, and I appreciate it. Grizzlies tonight, 6:30 downtown at FedEx Forum against the Brooklyn Nets, and Kyrie Irving, he will play. Sweet 16 starts back tomorrow night. We've talked a lot about that. We will continue with that with Blake Lovell from Blue Ribbon Magazine. He'll be our guest to start the 4 o'clock hour. I went through those Sweet 16s. Did any of them surprise you? Oh, that few, or oh, that many. Were y'all? I don't know that I was. Purdue 13, just 3 less than Arkansas. But Arkansas's got the brass ring.
People love to poke fun at Purdue, too, you know, as a basketball school, too, just their style of play for so many years. So I think I was a little surprised, but I think it's just based on the perception of everybody, not necessarily the way they play basketball.
I messed up the Iowa comparison with Alex Kuhn. Joe Barry Carroll was at Purdue, and I had him at Iowa. That was wrong. That was a long time ago for him. The Iowa Final Four, I don't know that I remember the Iowa Final Four.
What year was it?
40s or 50s?
I don't think he went to a Final Four, but Robbie Hummel, before he got hurt, Robbie Hummel was not only a lottery pick. He's a great broadcaster, but not only was he a lottery pick, he was the player of the year in my estimation.
Big Dog Robinson in 94.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Conzo was on that team in 94. I remember that team well. That was Gene Cady, and I like Gene Cady a lot.
1956 was the Final Four.
Yeah, I got Purdue and Iowa confused with Alex. I'm going to have to correct myself with him. But did it surprise you, Duke and North Carolina and UCLA, that many? Did you think they were that close? 36 for UCLA, 35 for North Carolina, 32 for Duke.
Yeah, I thought that's par for the course.
I think 30 is so many, too, especially when
31 for KU.
Not to say that Coach K hasn't been at Duke forever, but, you know, a lot of people listening, I'm sure, can remember when Duke wasn't what Duke is now, when it was just building itself up. So the fact that
under K, when they were the bridesmaid, the open conversation of will they ever do it, and then they finally did it in the unlikeliest year against Tark and undefeated Vegas in 91
Stacey
semis.
Ogman.
And so the fact that it is equal, or at least in the conversation.
Anderson Hunt, MOP of that Final Four.
But the fact that it's in that conversation with North Carolina that has sustained success throughout tenures of coaches, and UCLA, same idea throughout tenures of coaches, is remarkable.
It's a million years ago. But the idea that Duke was nothing before Krzyzewski,
right, not to say that,
is not accurate. Bill Foster had them in the 78 finals just 3 or 4 years before, 2 or 3 years before Krzyzewski took that job. Gene Banks was a freshman on that team, and I think played his senior year under Coach K at Duke, and then way back in the 60s, it is a million years ago, for sure a million years ago, they had a player that was MOP of the Final Four that was not on the winning team, Art Heyman, and that hardly ever happens again. Next weekend when we get around to Final Four, I mention it every year, the last player to be MOP of the Final Four on a team that didn't win it, Akeem Olajuwon in 83. When what they do? Pass the ballots out with 3 minutes to play?
That's right.
Who in the hell didn't vote for Lorenzo Charles?
Yeah, well, but that's just one shot, right? It's the full.
But it was a big one.
It was a big one, though. Wow, 4 Final Fours for Duke before K even took over.
Yeah, Foster was there in 78, and an old Cardinal baseball player, Dick Grote, played on a couple late 50s, and Art Hyman's team was 63. I think he was MOP of the Final Four in 63 when Loyola won it. So they had an existence. They had a pulse. But Mike Krzyzewski took it to the Brotherhood.
Next stratosphere.
He took it. I went there, Darren. He took it to the Brotherhood, to the Duke Brotherhood. Duke haters or likers or neither from y'all?
I mean, I have nothing but respect for Mike Krzyzewski.
I used to be a Duke hater. I used to be a Duke hater.
I understand why people would criticize him.
I never have been. I'm closer, and I'm not a hater now, but I'm closer now than I've ever been for a long time. Big respect. Respect him, playing for Bobby Knight, going to West Point. But the word we used during the break, he's become a little tedious this year. K has.
No kidding. I mean, the farewell tour. I mean, come on. Yeah, I mean, I have a whole thing about farewell tours. If you're like an NBA player and you're going around and people got your shoe and got your jersey, that's one thing. You don't have a Coach K shirt. It's not like people are repping their Coach K memorabilia as he's going around.
J-Mo, he has Coach K court.
Come
on!
He's not signing that.
And he's got K-ville. He's got Krzyzewski-ville.
That's right.
It flew all over me when he told that crowd to be quiet, let me talk.
It did.
Some of those students, first of all, their parents paying whatever they paid for them to go there, slept on the ground for 3 nights.
Waited for 6 weeks to get a ticket to come watch.
And then adults paid $5,000 to go, and he's telling them to shut up, let me talk.
And then he yelled at that kid in the press conference earlier this year, the student there. Yeah, no, he is not a people person.
Breaking news, old man screams at the sky.
Yeah.
But it happens. 1 hour, it has happened. It's in the books. We start hour number 2 on this Wednesday afternoon edition of Sports Time, and we start that with Blake Lovell from Blue Ribbon Magazine, all things SEC. That starts hour number 2. That's next.
Oh, Jeff Allen, what's shaking over there at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah?
The walls are shaking because the deals are phenomenal on Mount Moriah. Check this out, Randy. You can take your pick from a 2022 Kia Soul LX or a 2022 Kia LXS. We got it for $199 for a 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, what do you got in an SUV?
A Venture Ready over here with the 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $299 for 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
And every Gossett Kia comes equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
Or online, KiaMountMoriah.com. 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, sold in 7/18/2252, MSRP $20,960, Forte NE 461,574, MSRP $20,770, Sorento $899,0199, MSRP $32,120, includes all rebates and incentives, $695 PF, must finance through Kia, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/4/2022 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday, baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios, grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers, everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
Bellyacre's motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. Two great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday, 11A to 9P. Friday and Saturday, 11A to 10P. Regalia, Sunday through Thursday, 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Bellyacres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Bellyacres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Bellyacres.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to sports time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Hour number 2, it starts now, and we're talking a lot of college basketball. Sweet 16 gets going again tomorrow night, and, of course, the Grizzlies and the Brooklyn Nets downtown FedEx Forum, 6:30 tip, and with all the coverage that ESPN has dedicated it, what a great thing for Memphis, and we will talk a lot of Grizzlies coming up about 4:30. Grizzlies tonight against Brooklyn, trying to shave that magic number down a little bit. It's at 9, get a win tonight. Now, Golden State loss. You lop 2 off of it in one night. You've done a lot of good work. Doing a lot of good work for us all year, and with everything he does, whether it's Saturday down south, his own SEC coverage, Blue Ribbon Magazine, everything that Blake Lovell does. And Blake Lovell, I got to tell you, if I were a horse, I lost my maiden last week. I finally joined one of the spaces, and I joined yours, and it was exactly what I would expect from you. It was really enlightening. And a lot of fun, and I know you've had fun with that instant reaction. Good afternoon, Blake Lovell.
Yeah, good to talk to you as always, Brett. It's it's interesting. Twitter Spaces are something that I just had no idea what they were when they first started, and I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who have seen the good and bad side of them. But you get a lot of people in there that are sports fans, and it's immediately reacting to different stuff. It's pretty interesting because it is, you get a good feel of where things stand and a lot of good interaction and discussion. So, yeah, those were a lot of fun.
You were to, I'm going to do it again. You're to be commended and complimented in keeping it level-headed, especially when it was easy to join in on Kick Kentucky while they're down the night I joined.
Yeah, well, that was a very popular, a theme that was taking place around not just social media, I'm sure, but in many homes across the bluegrass state there. And, it's just, look, that was one of the more shocking ones we've seen. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we considered it, I said, and we talked about this, Kentucky was struggling offensively. Their half-court offense was not very good heading into the NCAA tournament. And sometimes I think you just have to maybe not go off of wishful thinking and just go off of what you're actually seeing from these teams heading into the tournament. And it was the same with Kentucky, the same with Auburn, teams that we had some questions about, whether anybody wanted to admit it or not. And certainly no reason to lose to St. Peter's, but I think you got to give them credit. But, Kentucky they didn't have it offensively, they didn't have it defensively, and it was just one of those performances that led to plenty of frustration. I don't think that frustration's gone away for a lot of Kentucky fans.
Blake, I want to talk to you about basketball, but I do have to say you were actually the one that alerted me last night through a retweet to Colin Cowherd's report that USC put together the greatest practice ever to happen on a college campus. All that is to
hang a banner.
Obviously so, they should. But I really want to ask you seriously, as someone who covers the SEC, what's the most exciting storyline that as we enter spring football practice here in the SEC as well?
I tell you guys, it's one of those things I think that we're going to keep talking about, and that's honestly going to be just the impact, I think, of just NIL and everything that we've kind of seen, really. And like you said, we're going into spring practice, but look at what we've seen from a recruiting standpoint, in recent days, right? I mean, I think that is something that's still, even though we're looking ahead now to next season, it's still so much of what we're seeing, especially on the football front. And of course, Brett, we've talked about this before when it comes to how this relates to basketball and all that, but we know like football is just a completely different animal when it comes to this stuff and all the possibilities that are out there. So I think that's going to be interesting. One of the things that's still going to be talked about, you'll certainly hear that a lot as we go throughout the summer and everything. But I mean, really, guys, I think it's just when you look at this league right now, you kind of understand that where the top of the food chain is still going to sit with Georgia and Alabama and knowing kind of where they are at. But, now we start to see, can a Josh Heupel build up a Tennessee quicker than perhaps we thought that was going to happen? What's going to happen at Florida this year with the new coach? I think there's a lot of interesting dynamics going into the spring here for sure.
Do you think SEC basketball has capitalized, maybe not the same, the monetary amount, but to kind of to its fullest extent? Have they capped out with basketball like we see football capping out, and maybe even in growing?
I think this. It's crazy you ask that because I think this offseason is going to be a good way to test that because think about how many new coaches now are in the league, and I think this is where we're going to kind of see when you look at all those opportunities that are out there. And look, I mean, we always laugh. It's like the Monday after the first couple rounds of the NCAA tournament is when we see, verbal commits on Twitter. Like it's just, they are unleashing tweet after tweet after tweet because there are so many players transferring. And a lot of these players that are transferring, and I can tell you a couple from the SEC in particular, just talking to people. One of the reasons is they think there are better places out there, deals, NIL-wise, and those kind of things at different schools to give them a better opportunity to capitalize on that. And that's where I think when you have so many new coaches that are coming in, we know what's possible at a Kentucky or at a Tennessee or certainly what Bruce Pearl's done at Auburn now and all those things. But I think, remember, we said this last year, like it was so new that it was going to be an adjustment period. I think not just for football coaches who could quickly acclimate because there were going to be so many more, I think, opportunities out there, but in basketball, it may have taken a little while for some of that stuff to start trickling in. And now, when you look at all the new head coaches around the league, I think that's something where there's still a lot to be determined on that front. But there's no doubt anymore that it plays a big role when it comes to not just recruiting new players, but also trying to keep your own players there too. So
the crown fit pretty tightly on Auburn. They get to number one, and I don't think they handled it very well from that point on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, and I'll be the first to admit, I think I was one that kind of just shrugged off at times and said, "Hey, I
did.
Maybe this is
I can show you my bracket. I had them in the Final Four."
See, and I think it's just you look at it and you're thinking, okay, and this is what I said, Brad. And it's not anything I haven't said before. Is I think sometimes when you get away from your league and you play in a league like the SEC, that can be very beneficial because the game is not as physical. I mean, the SEC, like it or not, has become kind of a bruiser-type league that a lot of plays are made in the paint, a lot of physicality, a lot of fouls, a lot of free throws. But it's because you have teams that are built that way. You don't have a lot of teams that are built off the three-point shot. So you have a lot more plays and a lot more possibilities for that in the paint. And I think Auburn is one of those teams this year where we probably should have just accepted it down the stretch kind of where they were at and knowing that, look, I mean, if they did not shoot the ball well most of the season, and if they found themselves in a position, and again, we've always said that that's unlike a Bruce Pearl team. We're so used to them shooting a lot of threes and making a lot of threes. This team was built differently, and turns out that despite being 22-1 to start the season, it was just a team that ultimately, when it ran into some of those issues where it could not shoot the ball and was not getting the foul calls that maybe you're used to as an SEC team at home, because we've seen that. We saw that for a lot of teams this year in the SEC. it led the country in free throws and those kind of things. So I think if that doesn't happen, you can have a game like you had against Miami, and unfortunately for Auburn, it just came at the wrong time.
Yeah, Miami's playing well too, honestly. But you mentioned so talking about Auburn, kind of go to another team, maybe Tennessee. How do you assess a lot? And the SEC's taking a lot of heat this week. How do you kind of assess the season?
Though,
yeah,
right?
Well, losing these games, absolutely. But how do you assess the season?
This is when you build your chops.
No doubt about it. But how do you assess the season of So you mentioned Auburn now. How about at Tennessee? How do you evaluate the season there? Is it kind of like a winner take all deal, or do you see a lot of positives? Kind of what's your take on them losing and moving forward at the University of Tennessee?
Yeah, I think the issue now has become that when you win as much as they've won there under Rick Barnes in the regular season, it's good. It's good to see, but we all know. I mean,
we want
this
more.
is what it's all about. Yeah, I always say, I mean, statistically,
I want to eat strawberry shortcake first.
Right. It's like, again, that's the way you look at it. It's like statistically, yes, my brain should understand.
My English Peach days are over.
It's like I'm the same, Brad. It's like sometimes I feel like, okay, I look at this and I've said this before and not really gone into it, but it's like, okay, I'm looking at a 33-game sample size before the NCAA tournament, and I know there's value there, but I've also understand where things are, and that 2-game to 5-game stretch in the NCAA tournament is more important than that 33-game stretch that came before it. And that's a hard thing to kind of wrap your head around, but that's where a guy like Rick Barnes is in his career now. That's where John Calipari is now in his career. I think Bruce Pearl's gotten there at this point, given the success he's had.
Is Nate Oates kind of starting with that trend?
Yeah. As I say, Nate Oates, when you win right away and you win a regular season championship and a tournament title last year, that now is the expectation there. Look, it's the same thing we said with South Carolina with Frank Martin when they got to the Final Four. Mike White gets to the
best
Elite
and
Eight.
worst thing he ever did, Frank Martin.
Best really and worst thing that can happen to you. And that's, I think, with Tennessee, they could come out next year and go 30-3 in the regular season. But that will be great while it's happening. But when you get to that NCAA tournament, everybody's going to immediately turn all that 30-3 away and say, we now need to go, 5-0 at least. Like we need to get there. And I think that's just what it's become, guys. Like that's the way way coaches are judged. And fair, unfair, that's just part of the business now.
Blake, I threw this out this morning, joining Jay Morgan, who's with me now, and Dave Woloshin on Dave's show. This morning, I threw out kind of the golfer term, the best player to never win a major or winning a major. In the SEC, who's the next team to go to a Final Four that's never been to one? Is it Texas A&M? Is it Bama? Is it Vandy off the heels of a pretty good NIT run? Is it Mizzou that I know at one time under Norm fancied themselves as a basketball school first?
Yeah. I think that certainly Alabama and A&M, I think, are set up nice to put themselves in that position just because of the coaches they have now. And, like we said, I mean, Alabama certainly had a shot last year, just ran into, a UCLA team that got hot at the right time. And, Buzz Williams, I think, like we've mentioned, I mean, they should have been in the tournament this year. But I think he'll keep building that program. Again, this was just his third season on the job, and we're seeing success there already. So I think that's where things get interesting. I mean, anybody who follows me on Twitter knows I'm a huge fan of Dennis Gates being hired at Missouri. I think Dennis Gates is just a fantastic coach. And when you really look in the background, having Leonard Hamilton as a mentor and what Gates was able to do at Cleveland State, I think he's got a chance to have a lot of success at Missouri. So it's a great question. I would probably pick Alabama just because I think this is one of those years where, the roster kind of reshuffles, but we saw what Nate Oates could do last year with that team, and he hasn't had any trouble recruiting, bringing in big-time players. So I think Alabama, it's set up pretty nicely to get there sooner rather than later. But it is an interesting discussion now, guys, because you really think about it. The SEC coaching roster has changed tremendously in the past 3 years. And now, again, you've got 6 guys who are at different jobs this year. I mean, Mike White, like we said, he was at Florida, so you can count that. But you've got 6 guys that are starting fresh at a new school in the SEC this season, and I think that's going to bring about a lot of interesting possibilities for this league in the next 2 or 3 years.
Here's what the coaching changes, what it's done. In in current job, in seniority, here they are. Cal 1, Bruce Pearl 2, Rick Barnes 3, Kermit Davis Jr. 4.
Yes.
Hired in
wild,
2018, he's 4th.
Yeah, it's wild. I put up that graphic, and when I was doing it, I'm thinking, wow. Like, there are only 3 schools, and we talked about these 3 coaches specifically, Cal, Pearl, and Barnes. Only 3 schools that have not changed coaches in the last 4 seasons.
Blake, I'm sorry for not giving you credit. I did steal that from your graphic. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I put that
I hate
out
not
there.
giving attribution. I'm sorry.
I have to refer to it myself because I was looking at it and I was thinking, I was just like, wow, like this is not something you see a whole lot.
I even screenshot it, so I was really stealing from you.
That's okay. It's fine. It's from a good place. So, no, it is interesting, guys, to think about it. It really is like how much this league has turned over. It's, Brett, we've always talked about this too. Look, there's no guarantee any of these guys coming in the league this year are going to have success. But there was no guarantee that Frank Martin, Ben Howland, Tom Crean, who are all out of the league now.
I'd have lost a fortune. I'd have bet everything I could have on Tom Crean making it work.
Yeah, right?
Frank Martin.
So it doesn't matter if you come from mid-major, power conference, in this league, knowing that the 3 guys you're chasing at the top, and I think you're about to – I think you can put Eric Musselman in there now too, to be honest with you.
Sure can.
I think he's in there. Oates and Williams are pretty close to that route. I mean, Oates, again, off his regular season last year. But you're chasing.
I got the feeling down the stretch Oates hated his team.
Well, if you watched them, there was a lot of frustration there.
I mean, he wouldn't even call any of them by name at the presser after the loss in the NCAA tournament. He's like, I didn't even want to speak their names.
Number only.
Yeah.
I think it was leadership, that kind of stuff. And, but look, we talked about last year, Herbert Jones was a very unique player, one of the best that you would find, leadership, everything on the floor. Yeah, you lose that hurts. So.
Talking a lot during college basketball season, obviously emphasis is on, first team all in your league or player of the year in your league, but that's a very different question than professional prospects. So after you've seen, now I guess, a lot of these SEC teams be eliminated in the tournament, who do you like, who is most exciting player to you as they maybe start a professional career, and maybe how has your opinion changed of those guys after they've played a couple of NCAA, or in some cases, just one NCAA tournament
That's a nice way to ask, are you scared of Walker Kessler?
That's right. That's kind of what I was getting at.
That was the first name I was going to go to, because I think your opinion on him goes up and down at times, and I think that, that last visual is one that's going to really kind of change your opinion a little bit on him. But I still think with all the skills he has, I really think at the NBA level he's going to have a chance to have a lot of success. And, we always say NCAA tournaments about matchups sometimes, and you get different styles and those sort of things. Whereas in the NBA, yes, teams play different styles, but there are a lot of similarities too in terms of how, you can use a guy like that in particular against different teams. So he's one that everybody will kind of look at. I still think that the way Jabari Smith came along this year, I mean, my goodness, like he's one of those guys you just know he has all those things you need to eventually be a superstar in the NBA, all the playmaking skills, everything that goes along with his game. And look, I know we're talking about 2 Auburn guys, and that has to make it even more disappointing for Bruce Pearl to know that these 2 guys. But I'll say this too quickly, guys. The guy that I don't want to say I changed my tune on, because I came into the season, and Brett remembers probably, I was pumping him up, very excited about what he could do. Kennedy Chandler, I think he is going to be terrific as a point guard in the NBA.
Himself.
Yeah, and he just has all of the intangibles, like for a true point guard. You saw it against Michigan. I mean, really, he was the only chance they had against Michigan. The way he could get to the rim and those kind of things, I think he has done a lot for himself, and I am really excited to see what he's going to be able to do in the NBA, because I really fully expect him to be a 10-plus year point guard in the NBA, because I just think that he has all the tools needed to have a ton of success there.
He is Blake Lovell. He's on Twitter at the Blake Lovell, Lovell. It is a terrific follow year-round, but it is a must for basketball. And Blake will visit next week and probably the week after the Champions Crown, but it's getting close to the end. But it's been fun, and I may dive in another Spaces with you this weekend.
That's right. Always enjoy it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Blake. It's a lot of fun. Thank you. Blake Lovell with us. Talking about that player like Walker Kessler. Everybody kind of scared of him now. Darren, hit Jaren Jackson's the last game at Michigan State for me. give me a box score because I think it was very pedestrian. It was a really ugly performance by him and an ugly exit for Michigan State that year in the tournament. And I had a Grizzlies official tell me that night, I want to say they lost like at 2:33 in the afternoon, the day they were eliminated from the tournament. And a Grizzlies official told me that night, he said, we are ecstatic that he had that kind of game. We know he'll be there when we want him now.
Maybe that's the best thing to see sometimes. Wow, no, I'm looking at it right now. He had 2 points, and they were both on free throws, 8 rebounds, and obviously he's in foul trouble, 3 fouls, but that's par for the course.
Wow, just 2 points?
2 points.
2 points. It was bad. Who'd they lose to?
Syracuse.
Yeah, and that night I talked to a Grizzlies official, and he said, I think he was going to be there for us anyway. I know he will be now.
No kidding. I mean, really and truly, too, because that was, man, I forgot that. The last 2 games he played, and the game before it in the NCAA tournament, played against Bucknell, he had 6 points, only had 4 rebounds, again, in foul trouble.
What was the final of that Bucknell game? Was that a near miss?
82-78, that's right, near miss.
Yeah, and everybody kind of, and even after they take him, go, oh, look at his games in the NC tournament, means nothing.
And it came within those last 2 games. I remember Tom Izzo is not pleading with people not to take him. I don't mean to say that, make him look bad. But he was saying, I can't keep this guy on the floor. He won't stop fouling. And I think Grizzlies fans saw that there his first couple of years here in the league,
We're scared to death of it. Maybe either he wasn't out there, he was a foul machine.
Absolutely. But it does say something about their coaching staff, not to talk about the Grizzlies too much, but the development you've seen him absolutely grow in that area to be an excellent rim protector that can defend without fouling.
And just think what 3 years will do when he becomes crafty and really has learned this craft of wanting to and playing defense.
No doubt about
it. And so sometimes that NCAA tournament egg that gets laid, a lot of the NBA teams drafting don't care. I think Jaden Ivey's really helped himself to potentially be number one. Kind of that Danny Manning 1988 run year. If he can continue this, for sure, if they can get past St. Peter's and then shock the world and beat the winner of the Blue Bloods of the UCLA North Carolina game, if he got to a Final Four and really was able to put on a show and not have to give up the ball, I think Matt Painter, it's a little bit the line about Dean Smith, only he could hold Michael Jordan to 15 points. You let Jaden Ivey get in a free-flowing NBA rhythm where he gets, he's ball dominant. He doesn't have to give it up. I think he'll even be better in the pros than in college.
No doubt about it, especially when you can surround him with guys that can just be gritty and tough and make up for all of his weaknesses, too. Certainly his weaknesses he'll have as a young player.
Now those years that his mother was on the Grizzlies staff as an assistant coach, he didn't play any high school basketball in our area, did he?
Not that I know.
Did he stay in the South Bend?
I'll check that out. Where did he go to high school?
I
don't remember it at all. And frankly, I don't remember him around the arena with his mother. But I know she did a fine job. Here is now as the coach at Notre Dame, and I thought the TV reaction of her on Sunday that was good stuff. Watching yours while you're worried about your team, and he's putting on a show. That was fun.
No doubt.
Stanson says high school, LaPorte, Indiana.
Okay, so but I wonder if he ever even came here and played any pickup.
It doesn't. Well, I would hope so. Maybe he shot in the Grizzlies practice gym.
I bet so.
I'm sure
because he talks about how much he loves Ja.
Do you guys like the Ja comp of Jaden?
I think. It's certainly not.
I do. I think it's apt.
It's certainly not a bad one at all. I think the player. Ja is such a tough player to compare yourself to because of how unique he is. Like what Kevin Durant said, he's a mixture of all these different Hall of Famers.
Right. Iverson's the closest direct comparison.
Right. But, that's one thing about Ivy, like comparing him to Ja, is you see elements of Ivy's game in Ja. You know what I mean? But you could see that for so many different guys. For instance, Ayo Dosunmu, who's a rookie for the Bulls.
I loved him last year.
Played for Illinois last year, is totally different than Jaden Ivey. They don't play at all similarly, but I think you can compare both of them to Ja Morant.
That's a good one. So for we kind of finished with Blake on really trashing Alabama. Nate Oates this year, the game that scared me the most all year about him and his tenure at Bama was at FedEx Forum. When he just stood there, Shuckles, the shots didn't fall tonight. Oh, well.
Nate Oates' team is so strange to me, and I almost think I didn't think about this before just now when we were talking with Blake, but maybe we don't give Avery Johnson enough credit for building the program the way he did to get all those good players. People act like it was a throwaway program. He recruited Colin Sexton. He had John Petty on that team, who was a big prospect as well, and built this program.
I've never even thought about giving him credit, but that's good.
Because that's part of it, too, is just getting the point
right.
Avery
Johnson calling the game when they made the exit.
How about that? It may be a little bit of vindication, too, but I don't know if Avery Johnson, it's got to be exhausting for a guy of his caliber as not only an NBA player, but coaching in the NBA, too, to have to put up with all the rigmarole of a college program. But I do think he deserves more credit for that situation that Alabama's in right now.
I loved him calling Alabama games.
He does a great job calling
games.
He is
so nut. He is straight down, straight and narrow. I love Avery calling that.
Good insight, too.
Absolutely.
Real good insight. And for him, from that NBA life, now Alabama, how they travel and everything they do in that program, it's first class, but there's an occasional Hampton Inn in their world. There's never a Hampton Inn in the NBA world.
No, never at all.
Never.
But he's old school stats, so he came from the mid-'90s.
When they were taking the subway train.
Yeah, so
I'll say it again. When you get used to ordering strawberry shortcake first, you don't want to go back to old school.
Not at all.
I mean, that one-room schoolhouse, that's not very much fun. That's just fun to talk about coming from there. But Avery Johnson, he was just such an NBA guy. That was worth trying for Bama.
Absolutely.
And I've never thought about giving him the credit.
Yeah,
maybe he deserves
not all of it, but some of it.
Maybe he deserves more. 901-360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener. And text line, get in the zone at AutoZone 901-360-8255. When we come back, Grizzlies and Nets tonight at FedEx Forum.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Spring is around the corner. That means the sounds of air conditioners cranking up will be in the air soon. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. This month only, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier AC unit. No gimmicks, just $1,000 off for the Choate's Early Bird Carrier AC Special. If your AC is in good shape, call us to get your $60 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC cleaned and ready for the warm seasons ahead. Choate's is here for all your cooling, heating, plumbing, air duct cleaning, and commercial needs. Call us today at 347-8086 to take advantage of these early bird specials. Or to schedule online, visit ChoatesHVAC.com. So turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Oh, Jeff Allen, what's shaking over there at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah?
The walls are shaking because the deals are phenomenal on Mount Moriah. Check this out, Randy. You can take your pick from a 2022 Kia Soul LX or a 2022 Kia LXS. We got it for $199 for 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, what do you got in an SUV?
A Venture Ready over here with a 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $299 for 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
And every Gossett Kia comes equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
Or online, KiaMountMoriah.com. 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, sold in 7/18/2252, MSRP $20,960, Forte NE 461,574, MSRP $20,770, Sorrento $899,0199, MSRP $32,120, includes all rebates and incentives, $695 PF, must finance through Kia, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/4/2022 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
I'm Jason Horowitz with a March Madness update, sponsored by Geico. Regional round action ramps up tomorrow for the men's tournament and on Friday for the women, and both have some great matchups to get the weekend started. For the men, 3 of last year's Final Four teams are still alive, and 2 of them return to action tomorrow, with Gonzaga meeting Arkansas and Houston taking on Arizona. Hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA basketball tournament right here.
Family. It looks a little different for everyone. For some, it's mom and dad. For others, roommates who feel like family. And for others, it's your significant other, their golfing buddies, your children, a high school soccer team starting lineup, and oh look, they're all taking you up on the offer to stay for dinner, really testing the limits of that phrase, the more the merrier. But no matter where you call home, Geico makes it easy to bundle and save on home and car insurance. Easier than making 3 frozen pizzas and assorted frozen veggies into a cohesive meal.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
So you're finally going back to work in your actual office in actual downtown Memphis. That means it's time to get back in the habit of making yourself happy by going to Happy Hour. And there's no better happy hour downtown than at 117 Prime. The executive happy hour at 117 Prime has it all. From $5 glasses of house wines to $5 craft cocktails, $3 domestics and local beers, paired with the best oyster bar anywhere in town and the happy hour specials from the best chefs in town. And you've got the recipe for the perfect happy hour. And the only place for the perfect happy hour every weekday is 117 Prime.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Gabe will be back with us on Monday. Jay Morgan Harder co-hosting today. Darian Newsom producing. They both have been here, well, since about Sunday. And I appreciate both of y'all very much for being with us tonight downtown at FedEx Forum. The 6:30 tip, about 30 minutes early. We know that really means 6:40, but with TV, it might be closer to on time than normally. The 7 o'clock tips always tip around 7:10 in actuality. But tonight against Brooklyn and all that they bring in, including Mr. Road Trip himself, Kyrie Irving.
Which is a huge one for Grizzlies fans to see, or just basketball fans in general to get to see him play. He's playing so well right now. And Kevin Durant is playing so well right now, too. Not to brag about the opponent too much, but before Kevin Durant got hurt, for my money, he was the MVP, and he certainly is playing like he's the best player in the world.
Every night must win for the Nets.
Absolutely. At this point, I mean, I wouldn't want to face them in a first-round playoff either, or a second round, or a Western or Eastern Conference Finals for that matter either. But the Nets is a really exciting team to go watch tonight. Also, one factor that is, well, maybe two factors, I guess I should say, overlooked a little bit, is the Nets' additions at the trade deadline. I like Seth Curry a lot, but one guy that John Harden of Happy Hour makes fun of me for liking too much is Andre Drummond. I think he is a huge addition, just a guy that embraces his role as a giant physical player, and that is a rarity in the NBA today, and the rarer it gets, the more of an advantage it becomes.
Isn't that the description for a smaller player in Seth Curry? They both have been with everyone, but they accept Seth Curry was here.
Yeah.
He was here. Former Grizzly Seth Curry.
That's right, early.
Drummond hadn't. He's been everywhere else.
Everywhere else. He's played. I can't say enough
about
this.
He's a walking double-double, J-Mo.
20 rebounds
walking
he'll get.
Double.
Before he was traded with the Sixers, he had 20
like
and
JV,
20 in that game.
Valanciunas.
But in a different way.
Pencil him
in a different way, because I think
a little more impactful.
Maybe impactful, but unselfish. Because Valanciunas, while he does do things that help the team, it's really it's all about himself in the way he positions himself, the way he plays. Whereas Andre Drummond is totally unselfish, is all about giving, which is very rare for a player. There was a period of time people talked about him maybe being the best center in the league, and it's not always that guys gracefully embrace lower roles after, flying so close to the sun, as it were.
And he has. Tonight for Brooklyn, I mentioned that they need every win. They're 38-34 right now. That's the 8th seed. They're only 2 games behind the loss column of Toronto for the 7, 3 for the 6th spot against Cleveland. But they're also just 2 clear of Atlanta for the 10.
Atlanta's playing good ball, too.
The idea of Brooklyn falling down there in that 10 seed and being one and done and out, That's not what the networks want.
Not at all. But, I think it takes care of itself, too. You know what I mean? Because the Warriors, people were like what you said, the networks wouldn't want, let's say, versus the Grizzlies last year. Maybe they didn't want the Warriors to lose. But the Warriors had so many problems outside of basketball that the Grizzlies were the better team, not only necessarily on that night, but probably deserved to make that playoff spot. I feel like if the Nets were in any given situation like that, it'll take care of itself.
Are the Grizzlies, are they going to have to win that 2 seed, or is it just going to fall to them with Golden State receding?
Seems like it's falling to them. Doesn't it seem like it's falling to them? But
Monday night's big.
It really is.
That head-to-head's got to be won.
And, I honestly don't count
Monday's bigger than tonight. I know all the panache with ESPN.
But it's a West-East game,
Yeah, but Monday's everything.
And I think that with the Warriors, like you said, dropping also, I don't count them out to get it together either. But it seems like the Grizzlies, I can't even count the Grizzlies out too. I almost can't make sense of it. I was talking to Anthony Sane earlier today, talking about the feel after the All-Star break. He's like, man, I just think we're going to get beat so bad tonight. I'm just down. It seems like we're playing 500 basketball since the All-Star break.
Downer.
And I feel that way too. But
get him, Darian.
They've won 7 of their last 3, though. But I also understand what he means, that it feels different. But also, the Grizzlies are just playing at too high of a trajectory to go down.
I just want Anthony to meet Malika. That's it.
Oh my goodness.
He's pure
Malika thing.
Bring a sign.
Hey, but J-Mo, check this out. Okay. How about the Nets? How about they didn't actually want a 1 through a 4 seed? Because if the law doesn't change in the New York area, that means you'll have Kyrie for each and every game 7.
But unless it's Toronto, which might be a play-in game opponent.
Hot dog.
And he can't play.
He can't play at all.
You can't get into Canada.
So he wouldn't be able to play at home or on the road.
Darian, I don't think it's changing because I think Kevin Durant waved the cape at El Toro, and that mayor has really kind of gotten more locked in on not changing.
You know what might help, though?
And BA2 variant.
You know what might help, though, is baseball starting.
There's one every day coming at us.
Baseball starting might help, though, seriously, because it's one thing to mess with the Brooklyn Nets. It's a whole nother thing when you mess with the New York Yankees being able to play on the field.
George Steinbrenner's no longer
alive. He's not with us.
I
bet they wish he was, though, to help this situation. No doubt about that.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
I was a firm believer that the Nets should have traded Kyrie anyway.
No, man.
They should have traded. They should have traded because of the whole playing situation in the home. I'll say trade him to Philly for Ben Simmons. That was my call before.
Did you hear about the reported practices before they traded James Harden?
Yeah.
It's reported that Kyrie was going at James Harden in practice, said he was washed,
his thing.
would score on him relentlessly every day, then guard him and not let him score, and it
embarrassed
him. It demoralized him, and that's why he shut down and had to leave. Then they played the 76ers,
and
he validated it because he guarded him the whole game, and James Harden could not get going, and that element of that is crazy to me.
I said on the day of the trade, give me the over and under when the Philadelphia crowd boos Harden.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, though, and it's not – that's what – I mean, I think, it's the nature of our business is when trades happen, you got to talk about them and give opinions about them. But people really reacted so quickly to seeing how it's not a good sign for James Harden that happened with Kyrie Irving.
Oh, no, you don't want anybody making that kind of money and have that kind of production to be dispirited.
No.
To kind of be, oh, no, I don't have it.
And it becomes that you have to rely on it's the lack of leadership, I guess is a good way to say it.
Stats, what if James Harden goes down as Alex English or Bernard King? You ever think about
don't disparage Bernard King.
It's not
just straight up score but no ring.
It's not a bad league to go down in. I
mean, definitely not.
The last member of the Hall of Fame, I guess technically is just as faded and just as ballyhooed at the Hall of Fame as the first, as Kareem or Michael Jordan or LeBron James, but no titles.
Absolutely. And strangely enough, neither one of those guys made the top 75. Alex
Bernard
English
King.
nor Bernard King. Isn't
terrible?
Isn't that terrible?
Bernard King's top. You tell me he's not the top 75 player.
Love Bernard King, and then his little brother came along, Albert King, and was supposed to be the next big thing. Was probably the biggest recruitment of the late 70s, early 80s, recruited by everyone. Lefty Driesell at Maryland got him, and he ended up just being good, not great.
He didn't play
Another great coach without a title. Lefty
for sure. If he did hit it for Albert King at Basketball Ref, if he did, it was a cup of coffee. It wasn't anything exemplary. The go-to place to sell any vehicle for some crazy good cash and get your check today is an Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. And you don't have to buy one of the All-Star cars or trucks, just bring it on, even if you owe money on it. But if you're ready to go car or truck shopping, the place to be is at All-Star, down 78, first exit, Kraft Goodman Road. That's where you need to be. Ask for Kevin or Jeff or Drew or any member of that great team, and they'll show you all the new Silverados and more in the pipeline. Starting to loosen up a little bit. Zero interest available in your good credit. Well, it deserves zero, and you'll get it there. Plus $1,000 accessory allowance, another $500 in bonus cash. These will go fast. So try to get down to All-Star today or this week. Pre-order whatever you want. All-Star Chevy is loaded with certified pre-owned Chevys, lots of certified Silverados. If you want to shop the best pre-owned vehicles, go to allstarautogroup.com and find the one you want. Come drive one today. Drive them all. Remember, it's not South Haven. It's not the Pike. It's not Collierville. It's not Mount Moriah. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy or go to allstarautogroup.com. What do you got on me for Albert King?
He played for 8 years in the NBA.
He did? That's a lot more than a cup of coffee.
He played for Larry Brown and averaged 17 points a game for the
sorry,
Nets
Albert
in 1982.
I owe you an apology.
I couldn't believe it.
But the level of recruitment they were saying he was going to be better than Bernard.
Right.
And he didn't knock off Bernard.
No way.
And even in college, what Ernie and Bernie could do at Tennessee, but college Maryland, right?
Yeah, that's right.
High school in New York City. What was it?
Fort Hamilton?
That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fort Hamilton. Not Power Memorial like Lou Alcindor.
10th overall pick, though, in the 1981 NBA draft.
But that recruitment, it was something to see. When we come back, we will compare and contrast the first 4 years for Coach Penny Hardaway against Cal's first 4 years and against Coach Josh Pastner's first 4 years, and we want your input at 901-360-8255. That's the AutoZone text and listener line. Hit us up. You're listening to Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Look, I know you're hungry for amazing fajitas, and Los Cabos has got them. Los Cabos Bar and Grill with their giant baked potato fajita. It's stuffed with either chicken or steak and smothered with cheese. Or try Los Cabos classic steak fajita burrito. And if you're in need of the largest selection of premium tequilas in Memphis, then Los Cabos is your destination. You got happy hour 2 to 8 daily. And if you need a place to watch any game or just have a date night, then get yourself to one of Los Cabos locations. 6600 Stage Road, 2037 Exeter Road, 6542 Quince, and coming soon to South Haven at 3964 Goodman Road.
Yes, it's still winter. Yes, it's still cold outside. But Family Leisure wants you to start thinking towards spring and maybe even summer. So Family Leisure's pool and patio sale is happening right now. Come to Family Leisure to get started on your outdoor living space. Yes, I know it's cold and dreary outside, but this is the perfect time to think ahead. Pools are in stock and ready to go. Brand new 2022 patio furniture is hitting the floor each and every day. In-stock hot tubs are ready for delivery. You can get fantastic deals on play gyms, trampolines, grills, and outdoor kitchens. I know you are already looking forward to spring and summer, and so does Family Leisure. But if you sit on the couch too long, the best deals will be gone. So don't wait until it's too late. Stop thinking about spring and summer. Start planning for it. The pool and patio sale is in season right now. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's Whitten at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Cobra, featuring the new LTDX drivers, engineered for the longest total distance with extreme forgiveness. Internal weights create the power core, and hot face technology delivers faster ball speeds at every contact point. 4 drivers to fit every golfer's needs. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repair repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Begin your exciting career in broadcasting today. Jobs in advertising, sales, promotions, news, business administration, engineering, and more are available throughout the state. Find out about career opportunities by visiting the Tennessee Broadcasters Virtual Job Fair at broadcastersvirtualjobfair.com. Get information about opportunities available in the broadcast industry, as well as specific positions here at Flynn Broadcasting. Apply online now to begin the process of establishing a career in Tennessee's exciting broadcast industry. Minorities and women are strongly encouraged to visit. Brought to you by Flynn Broadcasting at broadcastersvirtualjobfair.com.
Get in the swing of things. Grab your friends, your clients, your employees, and go enjoy everything you love about Topgolf in a luxury suite while at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Topgolf Swing Suite is an immersive social experience offering guests a luxury private lounge to enjoy Erling Jensen's extraordinary food and beverage service, all while playing a selection of games in a one-of-a-kind simulation day. Topgolf Swing Suites are great for work outings, celebrations, or just getting together. It's fun for the whole family. It's fun for golfers and non-golfers alike. They have more than just golf. They have soccer, baseball, zombie dodgeball, football, and more. Located at 5069 Sanderlin, adjacent to the Doubletree East Memphis. Check us out at SwingSuiteMemphis.com or call us at 901-58-SWING. Again, that's 901-58-SWING at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Book your suite today.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
With Darian Newsom and Jay Morgan Harder, a cast of thousands. Gabe Kuhn back on Monday. Bryant Dacus back tomorrow. Appreciate you guys being with me today, and we appreciate you, the listener. 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at the AutoZone text line. Through 4 years. Can you believe 4 years goes by that fast?
That really is crazy. It's been 4 years.
It flies by. 85-43 for Coach Penny Hardaway. 22-14 first year. 21-10 in the COVID year. 20-8 winners of the NIT last year. 22-11. 1-1 in the NCAA tournament. Just first impressions. Have y'all looked at the other two? Do y'all think that's in line, more or less, about in the neighborhood? Because we've heard a lot of people say, for both, Penny's first 4 years looks a lot like Cal's first four.
No way.
Or Josh's first four.
Well, John's first year, Calipari's first year, he won an NIT, right? Or
third place, won it the second year.
Won it the second year. So that's obviously a few extra wins.
I had to look that up. I thought that, though. I thought he won it the first year, but it was third the first year.
That was the Omar Snead, Kelly Wise group, right?
Yes, and I got an Omar Snead reference in on an Ole Miss football game this year. I got so bumfuzzled with Snoop Connor doing pregame at Auburn with Eli Savoy, I called him Omar Snead, and Eli looked at me like the creature from the Blue Lagoon. We go to the break. I went, what the hell was the Omar Snead reference about?
Jay Morgan,
I don't know how that came out.
Do you recall Omar Snead?
No, not
walking double.
He was.
Like
Andre Drummond.
Walking double.
Really?
Double.
Just around the bucket, always stick backs. Decent 10-footer.
Oh, yeah. But bully down low. I mean, absolute bully down low.
It gets a reference on Ole Miss Auburn pregame this year when I'm thinking Snoop Connor and I say Omar Snead. How in the world does your brain work like that? So what do y'all think? In line, out of line, close, or do you know?
I think, for me, Calipari, obviously I'm a little fuzzy with that. But so I would go to Josh. And I know that, it's like we were talking about a minute ago, taking over a program that's very successful and doing well is a huge advantage, which it no doubtedly was when Josh took over.
But had scandal attached to it.
That's right. But I remember just how good that recruiting class was, and you're still playing in a worse conference at that time.
Not even close. Josh, 106-34. 1-3 NCAA tournament. Went to 3 tournaments in 4 years. And remember what he walked in on. Not only
he rode that coattail
to fill those shoes, but also was attached to NCAA problems.
Mm-hmm.
Really picking up the slack, but with some of him as well. But the thing that stands out to me with his tenure, honestly, is that first year against Arizona in the NCAA tournament.
Second year.
First
NCAA
tournament year was when they played that Arizona team that was really good too.
Should have won.
Yeah, that was a tough draw too. That's a good basketball team they had. They had Derek Williams was the kid's name.
That was it.
And he should have. I thought he was going to be a
matchup for Josh.
Number 2 pick
with the whole Arizona thing. So John Calipari, his first 4 years, 93 and 39. 93 and 39. First year, 21 and 15, NIT third place. Second year, 27-9, NIT championship. Third year, finally goes to a tournament. 0-1 in the tournament, 23 up, 7 down. Fourth year, wins a game in the tournament, like Penny Hardaway in his fourth year. Finally gets that first NCAA win. He goes 22-8, 93 and 39.
Big difference I see there. Penny had John Calipari had a lottery pick in his first 2 years. Penny did not. That being DeJuan Wagner.
Oh, what a good
with
player.
That NIT team.
His son is playing prominently now.
Oh, that's why the tumultuousness that's going on in Kentucky is good for us, because naysayers would believe that it's down to Memphis and Kentucky.
Yeah, he's out there. The son of DeJuan Wagner, the grandson of Milt Wagner, the Louisville great.
What a family.
For the class next year. If y'all checked out some of the point guards for next year, and a very familiar name from football.
Who's
from
that?
Football. Edgerrin James Jr.
Really? Watch out, Miami. He's going to go somewhere in South Beach, maybe.
Edgerrin James Jr. out there next year.
Let me ask you, getting back to the comparing of the records, what's the big defense for Penny? Is that they played in the Conference USA? It would have to be. Not that the American is some world beater conference. I don't mean to say that at all. But I'm just trying to think in terms of what people would defend Penny Hardaway with.
Penny can defend that he wasn't a coach.
That's a terrible defense, though.
But this is all brand new to him.
They knew he wasn't a coach the day they hired him.
Absolutely. This is all brand new to him. He had to grow into the position. Everyone else had previous experience.
So you're saying it's like you would judge it, like the way that people would judge it differently, different expectations for what to
we
think.
Put entirely too much on Penny. I'm a firm believer that from day one we put too much on him by him not having the experience of being a coach.
But then why hire him?
He wanted it, absolutely. He wanted it, and I think he will eventually blossom and bloom into everything that he wants to be. But initially, we should have reeled that in. He was a high school coach.
Okay, I look to blossoming and blooming. Fifth year for Josh Pastner, 24-10, 1-1 in the NCAA tournament. Penny Hardaway goes 24-10 next year and goes 1-1 in the tournament. What are we saying 52 weeks from now?
Probably the same thing, don't you think?
More patience, more we're back.
Yeah,
we're back.
More we're back. Consistent NCAA tournaments. I mean, honestly, it seems like the NCAA as much as people want to. I hope this doesn't come out wrong. As much as people want to say before the season started, oh, the Tigers, they're going to lose 4 games and they're going to the NCAA tournament, clearly based upon the reaction.
That was me.
Yeah, well, a lot of people said it, not just you, Brett.
Lose 4 games and go to the Final Four.
Final Four, excuse me. So that's what I meant, is to go to the Final Four. But based on the reaction that everyone has had by just going 1-1 in the NCAA tournament, clearly somewhere deep down subconsciously, those were the fan base's expectations. Obviously, maybe they're playing a little creative bookkeeping with what their expectations really were, but clearly they're satisfied enough, right? Absolutely. Why wouldn't they be next year, too?
But it's also Penny Hardaway.
Yep.
And he's the charm of Penny.
And a very smart man now, and I'm a firm believer that he's telling the absolute truth of this. Said that Penny Hardaway probably learned more and grew more in this year than the previous 3 years altogether.
I agree.
And so from that standpoint, if you're going to judge it by that, and if we believe that, next year – winning one game and getting into the tournament is not good enough because you've already knocked those blocks down. Those were the naysayers. There was that little prickly angle towards Penny that you haven't gotten to the tournament, nor have you won a game.
John Calipari, 5th year, 22-16. That was the D-Wash heartbreaking missed free throws
against Louisville
in the conference championship year. Then went into the NIT, didn't do a lot, won a first-round game against Northeastern, and then bounced. But then after that, 33-4, 33-4, 38-2, 33-4.
Turned it up. Man.
Now, nobody's expecting Penny Hardaway to do that, are they?
I think they might be, Brett, to be honest with you. Maybe not expecting it.
With
but
the recruiting classes.
At some point, they think it's coming in. No kidding.
My bosses don't expect 33-4.
It's a great point. That phrasing is excellent for the what it means to be a college coach. Not only basketball, but football. Is the fan base kind of is your boss nowadays, or at least the boosters are. The boosters are, you know. And even if it's ridiculous to say we're expecting him to go 30-4, they're going to start expecting
that avalanche is coming,
and they're going to fire
that avalanche where number 1 recruit, number 2 recruit. Back to back years, and they eventually put it together. That's coming.
Because we sure don't want to lower the bar.
You don't want to lower the bar. No, that's coming.
But what if the bar is unrealistically high? You do want to lower
the
bar.
Sports, everything's
it is, J-Mo. It is. That's where we're in agreement on. It is.
Hey, look, this coming 2022 football season, Ole Miss goes 10-2 last year, regular season, lose the bowl game 10-3. What do you think their fans are expecting? I know what this one's expecting. Let's do it again.
Let's get it running back. But,
didn't they bring in a quarterback stats? Who was the transfer Ole Miss just brought in?
Jackson Dart, quarterback, running backs. We brought in everything new. We got a whole new team.
But Ole Miss attained those expectations. You know what I mean? They attained that goal of 10 wins.
Well, that's true. Going to the Sugar Bowl is better than – well, all right, help me here. Boy, I'm sorry we're short on time. What if you use the SEC football program – what was the equivalency for Tiger basketball this year? Was that going to a Citrus Bowl and losing, going 1-1 in the NCAA tournament?
I was about to say go to Citrus Bowl and win it. I mean, not that. No, it's hard to compare.
To the Outback Bowl and win.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to compare the two because what do bowls mean anymore, too? But, honestly, to a lot of fan bases.
The Sugar Bowl meant a lot to me.
Yeah, no kidding. And, the NCAA tournament just going means a lot to me, too. But I think a lot of people would disagree with going to a bowl means a lot or just going to the NCAA tournament means a lot, too.
I really think people are looking for Penny to put this thing together.
Maybe so.
I know they want it, and I know we're all kind of in the amen corner on it. But again, 52 weeks from now, if it's 24-10 like Josh in his 5th year, he doesn't get the blowback that Josh was starting to get, and then that 6th year for Josh, it really started to fall off.
People have short-term memory sometimes too, don't they?
Well, very selective.
Selective is the better word. You're right.
Certainly have that.
Selective. Don't forget this season next year.
A lot of this with coaches, I'm as guilty of it as anyone. I call it the son-in-law factor. You're going to be proud of your son-in-law, no matter what. You have to be. You got to at least act like it in front of the neighbors.
That's right.
Yeah, I love my son-in-law, but behind the scenes, boy, I don't know about this guy.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
But you're going to fake it kind of till you make it. We've kind of done that for 2 hours today. We got an hour left of that. We'll do it, and we want you to stay with us when we start the third and final hour. We'll go back to college basketball with Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated.
Often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of product? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Thank you, Brett. We are here and we're making it. I have to say a big thank you to all of our customers that ordered food during the curbside days, bought gift certificate when times were slow, ordered food to be shipped from our shipping kitchen, and then came back down to eat when our doors reopened. We owe a debt to the Memphis and surrounding community for supporting us when we need it. I hope y'all all come eat some barbecue with us, but I also hope you'll support our local restaurants. And if your service is a little slow or an item isn't on the menu that you enjoy, cut them a little slack. Hopefully it'll be there soon.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you for feeding all of us, and we will take that advice to heart.
Brett, we also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Burgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hi, my name is Takia, and a little thing that I love about the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is when I take a bite, it's the perfect blend from the bacon to the cheese. It's perfection.
Hey, I'm Katora, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese is it kind of melts in your mouth, so you know it's creamy, cheesy, and delicious. This gooey mac makes me cheese every time.
Order dinner delivered on the Chick-fil-A app today. Delivery fee and other restrictions apply. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Get in the game, Mid-South. Coach Colin.
And Coach Hunter here from DeSoto Auto Sales.
We're maniacs for all this madness.
But if we're going to catch all these games, we need your help.
So we cooked up a 3-point plan to help you
rebound from your old ride. 1.
Pick any nicer, newer car on the lot.
2.
Pass us your old ride.
3.
Will come in with the assist.
And give you up to $3,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value.
Based on the price of the car you pick.
So if your old rod makes you feel second string,
it's time for a rebound.
Because you could get up to $3,000 more than it's worth.
Worried about fouls on your credit report?
Our For the People credit approval process is a slam dunk.
But hurry.
This deal's done at the buzzer.
I'm Colin.
And I'm Hunter, and we're your dealers.
For the people. See all the cars at DeSotoAutoSales.com.
That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price determines actual trade allowance. Negative equity may be refinanced. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of the Kelley Blue Book Company, Incorporated, which is not affiliated with DeSoto Auto Sales. Offer absolutely ends March 31st, 2022.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Third and final hour on this Wednesday, and then downtown to FedEx Forum for the Brooklyn Nets and the Memphis Grizzlies. Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated and College Basketball Central. He will join us after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour. You heard the announcer say it's DeSoto Auto Sales, and they are, and they have been, and we appreciate it. They're at 5704 Goodman Road and very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. High standards in the car business. All the cars thoroughly examined, test-driven, bumper to bumper. All test-driven, thoroughly examined, bumper to bumper, from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot at DeSoto, they'll go find what you want just for you. No shortcuts taken. You'll be treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they care about your time. They know we live in a very busy world. That's why they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. Find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, wrap it all up in 45 minutes or less, in time to do it over your busy lunch hour, or like right now. Go buy a new car and drive it to FedEx Forum tonight. You can do that at DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very busy world we live in. That's why they keep it simple. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kevin Sweeney joins us now. And, Kevin, I'm going to start with a true confession. I feel terrible the last 2 years knocking the NIT around like I have, and I see the tweet right now out there making the rounds that after this year, that's it at Madison Square Garden for the NIT.
Yeah, I mean, it's a money move.
Yep.
As are most things. I think it's disappointing because
I think the tournament has already lost a lot of its luster, and I think one of the big things you could kind of sell to players, to fans, was like, hey, if you make a run here, you're going to go to Madison Square Garden.
We just said that. I promise in the break, Jay Morgan and I were saying that's the hook to get to the Garden.
Right. And it's just, again, maybe they'll do something fun, like maybe Vegas or something, or, I would love to see it at like the Palestra in Philadelphia. That'd be cool. But
Great
I think in reality we'll go to like St. Louis or something where whoever makes the highest bid.
Play it at Williams Arena in Minneapolis.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
The barn.
I think Drake has a raised floor as well, don't they?
I think so.
I know they used to in the Valley 100 years ago. Play it at Vandy. Play it at Memorial Gym. That would be good. Kevin, what was the best game you saw last weekend in person?
Well, I was there for Kentucky over St. Peter's over Kentucky. Excuse me. And I think that has to stand alone. I mean, look, I thought there were some incredibly entertaining games. I mean, the Murray State-San Francisco game where they were trading buckets back and forth in overtime was tremendous. But the brevity of that upset, I think you can make a real case. I mean, that is the second biggest upset in this tournament's history behind UMBC. I mean, it really feels to me like that. Knowing what I know about St. Peter's and all the
it's bigger.
they have over Kentucky, it's unbelievable.
I submit it's bigger because it's Kentucky and it's Calipari. Virginia, Tony Bennett hadn't had his title yet. They just don't have the pedigree that Kentucky has, but it's a good debate to have.
I mean, 1/16 is the only thing that holds it back. If it was a 16,
good point.
That's done deal. But first time, I think UMBC. But everything else, it's St. Peter's.
I want to talk more about the tournament with you, but there's been so much coaching carousel going on in college basketball right now. Kansas State is one that really stands out to me. What is the most intriguing coaching change for you, and why is it Kansas? I'm just joking, really. But which team is most intriguing for you in terms of coaching changes?
I mean, look, I think Kansas State's a good answer because, everyone this cycle was looking for the next Tommy Lloyd, right? The top assistant from an elite program that was ready to step into the high major and get it done. And they go for Jerome Tang from Baylor, who built it there from the beginning and did a tremendous job. I think that one stands out. I think the other one that's really intriguing to me is Todd Golden at Florida. I mean, Todd Golden is a rising star,
no doubt,
in this profession. Like he is going to be special at this thing, but it's shark-infested waters down there, without question. There are a lot of big-name coaches that you're going to be recruiting against every single year, and can a mid-30s guy who's only had coaching experiences in the WCC handle that? We'll see. I mean, I'm a huge believer in Todd. I think he has a chance to be one of the stars in this profession over the next 15 to 20 years. But it's a big step into deep waters.
Unless it's happened today, will Grant McCaslin land anywhere from North Texas?
He didn't wind up at some of the SEC jobs that were open.
I'm shocked.
There's conversation about SMU, which is interesting because SMU is in the league where North Texas will be come later this month.
Uh-huh.
So, or not, it might actually be a year. I don't remember when these dates are all happening. It's all very confusing to me. But regardless, North Texas headed to the American. So, SMU would have to really bring the money.
They got it.
They do. I think if you ask people today, they would say Grant McCaslin stays at North Texas for another year. But if SMU comes with an offer he can't refuse, then we might be in a different conversation in a couple of weeks.
I want to, before you get back to the tournament, I do want to ask you one more question about a transfer happening, and one of my favorite players, but a guy that might be off of people's radar, although they'll recognize the name, is Kenny Lofton Jr. Now, he announced he is transferring or open for business. Is that the better way to say it?
As a Cardinals baseball fan, can I boo the kid over his dad?
Yeah.
He's not actually Kenny Lofton's son.
Oh, it's not the baseball. I'm sorry. It's not the Arizona star.
No, I thought it too. I had to find it out wait.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
Breaking news for me.
Then I booed him improperly. I still want to boo Kenny Lofton, though.
Look, I mean, it'll be interesting. I think, right now he's testing the draft waters. Realistically, I don't think he's getting drafted. So, my guess is he'll put his name in the portal and explore it. He could follow Eric Conkle to Tulsa, but there'll be some big programs that are interested in the big fella because he is as unique as there is in the country. He's 6'7". He's built like a bowling ball, but man, that guy's hard to guard.
It was like the football player, quarterback, I think signed with LSU out of high school, and his name was Lindsey Scott Jr., and everybody thought it was the Run, Lindsey, Run from the Larry Munson call, and it wasn't. I mean, it can sometimes be someone else. Kevin, you were at those games. Could you feel that coming to Kentucky, and then after they kind of got the governor's stay of execution, then to overtime, could you believe that transpired? Because everybody thought, well, overtime, they'll crush them.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the first 5 minutes of the game, St. Peter's couldn't score. And I just, I knew that they were a bad offense. I said, you know what, maybe they can defend and hang around a little bit, but eventually they're going to like a 7-minute scoring drought and they're going to lose the game. And then all of a sudden, Daryl Banks hit like 4 threes in 6 possessions. Like, okay, we got something here. We got a game. Can they hang? And again, they took a couple of punches, but they just kept punching back. The zone that they went to with maybe 4 or 5 minutes to go that swung the game again was critical. And I just felt like Kentucky never really had the poise in the moment. You thought that this was an older group with the transfers with Severe Wheeler and Kellen Grady, and they'd be a little bit more ready to deal with a moment like this, unlike a freshman-led team. And it just didn't feel like they were. It felt like they were rushing, they were overwhelmed by the moment, that they kind of were shocked that St. Peter's was hanging around with them. And that's never a good spot once you're kind of on your heels, and St. Peter's took advantage.
No question about that. And St. Peter's been really exciting to watch, too. I love watching them play defense. But St. Peter's aside, what's been the most surprising thing for you in the NCAA tournament? Has it maybe been an early round exit for a team like Iowa, or has it maybe been a run, not to just stay in the state of Iowa, that an Iowa State has made, or a Miami? What has kind of been a bigger storyline just in your mind personally? Is it teams not meeting expectations or a team exceeding expectations?
Well, I think one of the really interesting things is we look at so much like who's hot coming into the tournament. Like, I think when we talked last week, it was, okay, Iowa's hot, they just won the Big Ten. Tennessee's hot, they just won the SEC. Virginia Tech's hot, they just won the ACC. Well, guess who's home right now? Virginia Tech, and Iowa. I mean, they all got bounced. So I think, for me, that was the surprising thing, was you kind of think, if you can get a team that's rolling at the right time, they're the team to bet on, and it just hasn't really been the case. I think the other thing that surprised me a lot really was how much the number 1 seed struggles, right? I think Baylor losing was not a stunner. They were vulnerable, they were banged up, but Kansas really just kind of squeaked by a Creighton team that was without its point guard and center. Gonzaga had to rally, obviously, against Memphis, and Arizona needed a very fortunate call, no call rather, in the closing seconds to beat TCU. I mean, everyone was vulnerable in the first weekend, and only Baylor truly went down, but everyone got their best shot from a 9 seed.
And sometimes you can lose and be eliminated from the tournament, and your fans are still happy, mostly contented. We are living among it here in Memphis. Most everyone pretty pleased with how this year ended. Let's get them next year in 22 and 23. How do you feel about Penny Hardaway's first NCAA tournament showing?
They built some momentum, right? I think that, obviously it was so important to get in, and once they got there, they proved that they belong. And I think if they were playing pretty much anyone other than Gonzaga on, Saturday night, they would have won that game and moved on. And that's just the reality of this tournament. I think, obviously, no one is going to be happy with starting the year next year the way they started this year, because it's the reason they had to play Gonzaga in the first weekend. If they figured it out from day one, they would have been a top 5 seed. They would have been rolling into the Sweet 16, I think, this weekend. But, I think when you're looking for momentum, this program certainly has a little bit of it right now. And so how do they approach this offseason will be fascinating. But things are certainly in a much better place than I think anyone would have probably anticipated 2 months ago.
If Penny Hardaway called you and said, Kevin, help me make my non-conference schedule, how would you draw it up for him? What would your November, December look like? Kevin, did you hear my question?
No, I lost you there for a second.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If Penny Hardaway asked you to help him make his schedule up, how would you compose the November, December schedule for him for next year? Because we know how important that is and how detrimental it was this year.
Well, I mean, I think it would help for me to know who'd be on the roster, right? Is this going to be a transfer-heavy thing? Like again, I think you want to know what you're looking at.
Let's say you're fairly loaded, and you're not that scared of people.
If you assume that they've got enough talent, which I think is a reasonable assumption, I think I would want the first 4. I think I would build it honestly a lot like I did this past year, right? I mean, I would have preferred the teams to be a little bit better that you lost to. Ole Miss and Georgia, I think you want to be better games, but I would have built it where you get 3 or 4 kind of tune-up games at home, get the fans excited, and then November tournament. I think they're playing in Orlando with several other high majors, and that'll be a good opportunity. You try to build off of that, and then I think you want one or two more kind of high-profile games, obviously maybe a game like a Tennessee or something like that in mid-December to build off of. So I think, I think you want 3 to 5 true high-major games and then 1 or 2 games against mid-majors that are good enough to potentially help your record. That'd be my goal.
If they would, even if you had to travel to Fayetteville, would you sign up for a game with Arkansas? Because they're going to be loaded. They're going to be a Final Four or early PEG team next year.
I think you do. I think there's not a lot of downside in playing that game. There's a whole lot of upside, right? I mean, it's a program statement. If you can go into, even if you were going on the road, I think ideally you'd play on a neutral court. But even if you had to go on the road, I think the excitement, the energy that would come with that game would be worth it. And if you lose it, it doesn't really hurt you from a.
Oh, that was the Saturday before Christmas. So I think next year Christmas falls on a Sunday. You let that be Saturday, December 18th in Fayetteville. It'd be a lot of Tiger fans there, and it would be rocking.
Oh yeah, that would be that'd be one of the games of the non-con. I would love it. So let's get these coaches on the phone and make it happen.
Yeah, I would love that. Kevin, you mentioned Tennessee and unexpected conference tournament winning teams that kind of faltered a little bit, but they did win a conference tournament, which might not mean the same as it used to, but I think it might still mean a lot. How do you evaluate? Let's just say stay in the state of Tennessee. Let's just evaluate the University of Tennessee. How do you evaluate a season with what a lot of people would call a disappointing tournament appearance while also winning your league championship?
I mean, they had an amazing year. Like at the end of the day, and again, because it's a pattern with Rick Barnes, I think you start to, you have bigger questions there. But at the end of the day, like you can only control so much in the NCAA tournament. Like they positioned themselves extremely well. They were playing their best basketball at the right time. They developed. Kennedy Chandler got so much better as the season went on. They were playing cohesively. They were playing a fun brand of basketball. They were really defending. Like they won a championship. They were competitive at the top of the league all regular season. It was it was a great year. I mean, it was. I think everything you could have realistically hoped for. The problem is, when you shoot 2 for 18 or whatever it was in the first weekend, and you get bounced. That's March Madness.
Kevin, I tell people that if they want to accuse me of you're too literal. It's too NCAA tournament heavy for you. Sorry, that's the rules of the game now.
Yep. I mean, look. At some point, like again, if it's 1 year, right? Like,
we're not playing to win the Orlando Big Shootout in November.
No, if it was in a vacuum and it was 1 year where you have a bad NCAA tournament, I understand. But at the end of the day, like you're defined by your tournament success, and if you're consistently coming up short, which unfortunately Rick Barnes has in Tennessee, you start to wonder. And unfortunately, it's again. If his guys make shots, they win that game, but his guys didn't make shots. So here they are, sitting at home.
The next time we visit with you, next Wednesday afternoon, Final Four will be set. We'll be talking about New Orleans. Give me a surprise team, someone that's going to shock everyone that will be New Orleans bound.
I think Providence has a real chance.
Ooh.
I mean, I just think that the bracket opens up well for them. Kansas is a good team, but they're not going to overwhelm Providence, and Providence is one of the best wing defenders in the country, and Justin Minaya to guard Ochai Agbaji. And if they win that game, you're playing Miami or Iowa State for a spot in the Final Four. That's pretty darn good luck for Ed Cooley and company. So I think the Friars are a real chance.
In 1987, Rick Pitino got to New Orleans to the Final Four with Billy Donovan and Delray Brooks.
What's that?
So it would be what? Help me with the math. 35 years. Is that right?
Right, yeah.
35. Boy, I didn't know any math would be required today. Kevin, where will you be this weekend? What games are you going to?
I'm off to Philadelphia, so I'll have St. Peter's and Purdue, followed by North Carolina and UCLA. I have a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow morning, so pray for my schedule. But excited about it.
We will, and Kevin, you enjoy, and we love all the coverage, and we love visiting. We'll do it again next week. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated and College Basketball Central on his way to see the bluest of the blue bloods. That's North Carolina and UCLA, and then Purdue against St. Peter's. I like the contrast of those games. Did you doubt me on 1987? I see you hitting the Google machine.
I did. That's exactly what I looked up, but you were exactly right. No, I was making sure. I just wanted to see. Whenever you bring up an old game, Brett, I just like to bring up the game log, see the box score, see what I missed back then.
I want to say Providence, Syracuse, Indiana, and UNLV in that Final Four.
Let me pull that up. I was just looking at Rick Pitino specifically right
Indiana
there.
over Vegas on Saturday. Syracuse with Ronnie Cycli over Providence on Saturday.
Yeah.
Ronnie Cycli and Derek Coleman? Or no, that was before Coleman, right?
You guys are asking me to do too much at this point.
Not you. Look, that's a stats question there.
was Pearl Washington in there with Syracuse at that time?
I think Pearl was there.
Yeah.
I think Pearl was there.
And that was in New Orleans. And Billy Donovan, you go back and look at those old pictures. He looked 5 years old.
He really does look super young, but that people say he looks like a vampire.
Jay Morgan, if you had some hair, you would look like Ronnie Cycli.
I'm telling you what,
look at him, Stats. He would look like Ronnie Cycli if he had.
I wish I did.
Look at that long flowing hair Ronnie Cycli had back then.
Old number 4, Ronnie Cycli, and Delray Brooks was a big transfer for that time. He started at Indiana and got crossways with Bobby Knight, and you're out. he wins that battle every time.
No doubt. 3rd title for Bobby Knight that year.
Yeah, won it in 76 in Philadelphia, 81 in Philadelphia, and 87 in New Orleans.
You'll know this. Top scorer for Indiana that year, Steve Alford.
But let me tell you, who had the big game on Saturday was kind of a reserve-type player, Joe Hillman, who I think later pitched for the Oakland A's.
What a dual sport athlete!
I think Joe, if he didn't make it all the way to the show, I think he was in their minor league system. Joe Hillman, old number 44 for Indiana in 87. That Final Four in New Orleans. New Orleans has always produced, and when we were there for the Sugar Bowl, I said it on our pregame. That place, for only being opened in 75, so 47 years old, it has hosted its share of everything.
Everything. WrestleManias, fights.
I didn't have the WrestleManias down, but
absolutely.
I'm going to trust you on that.
Absolutely.
Huge concerts, all the Super Bowls, all the Final Fours. SEC, I've been doing SEC basketball tournament at it. Sugar Bowl speaks for itself.
No doubt.
But BCS games. But it has had some wow Final Fours at it.
Stats, weren't they one of the first places that had the elevated floor in the Superdome?
Is that right?
Did they have the elevated floor in New Orleans?
I didn't remember them doing that. Now, the original setup for basketball at the Dome was just the court out there in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time it ever hosted NCAA tournament play was in 81 to give them a dry run for hosting in 82 when Michael Jordan in North Carolina won. James Worthy was MOP of that Final Four. And Arkansas advanced to that round after the half-court shot for U.S. Reed. And friends of mine went to the game. They played LSU and got blasted by a great Dale Brown team that went to the Final Four that year in Philadelphia. But they had the court out there in the middle, and 80,000 people around that little old bitty lone court out there in the middle. The Astrodome set it up that way for Houston and UCLA, the college basketball game that really put college basketball on the TV map.
Jay Morgan, your man, coach from Vanderbilt, Stackhouse. Stackhouse was on the elevated floor last night.
They love the elevated. Well, they play on the elevated floor every night out in Vandy.
But a big change at Vandy is now they let at those games at Memorial Gym, they will let those coaches roam to the normal side measurements. Used to they didn't.
Right.
They made them stay on that end. So when your defense was on that other end in the second half, it was hard to bark signals.
No doubt.
But now they traipse up and down the whole court.
It's such a weird thing why they couldn't have done that prior to – because I can't imagine there's NCAA set rules just for Vanderbilt on the end of the court, but a much better advantage. And you make a great point about yelling, but in the first half, a huge advantage to yell at the opposing players right there too, no doubt.
Because you have your offense. Well, that's right. In the second half, you have your offense in front of you.
Which is also a big advantage too, but you always want to talk to your defense, no doubt.
Yeah, the Pitino run for Providence, that put him really square as a big-timer, up-and-comer. And I think right after that's when he took the next job.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, a huge jump there, but we all know how that ended up. Now he's coaching at Iona College, playing in gyms where you can see the walls on TV still.
And beat St. Peter's twice
St. Peter's twice this year.
The goal at Belly Acres, the motto, it's City-Fied Farm Fresh, and they've accomplished it. Goal simple, provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the entire family. 2 great locations and a third on the way. Coming soon, Silo Square in South Haven sometime I'm going to say June or July or so. 2 great locations now, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef, sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. And summertime is milkshake season for sure. The burgers like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya and the melt in your mouth, and you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. Also good, also fresh. Basketball, sports, Grizzlies, everything on all the TVs at either location, whether it's at 6130 Poplar or in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. The quality brand the Belly Acres team they've developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the middle of the city in a third great location on the way. The goal at Belly Acres to become even more sustainable as they grow, and it's been accomplished. The very best quality available in Memphis. It's at Belly Acres. Burgers, shakes, and smiles at Belly Acres. When we come back, we'll talk all things Grizzlies downtown against Brooklyn. Who's on their way downtown for that? We want to hear from you at 901-360-8255. That's at the AutoZone text line. You're listening to Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Fiveash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Fiveash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Hi, I'm Tony Harris, former East High School and University of Tennessee All-American basketball player. As a former player, I assisted a lot of teammates into scoring points on the basketball floor. Now, as an experienced insurance broker, I assist communities and families with retirement, investments, college savings plans, 401k rollovers, and life insurance with living benefits. This past year, in 2021, my company, HOM Financial Services, put $10 million back into the communities of Memphis with our services. We have a team of licensed experienced brokers ready to assist you and your needs. Contact me today at 901-501-9343. Again, that's 901-501-9343 at HOM Financial Services. Let me, Tony Harris, assist you today.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you. Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Thank you, Darian Newsom. Appreciate you so much. Jay Morgan Harder co-hosting with me. We stay with you until 6 o'clock. And then I'm going to make the mad dash down to FedEx Forum for Grizzlies and the Brooklyn Nets. We talked about the must-win aspect for Brooklyn. It's not as much for the Grizzlies because of last night. Orlando did the Grizzlies a big favor. And you went way back to the beginning of the show with your top story with that.
They really did. I was just taken aback by what Draymond Green said in the postgame. You don't hear players talk like that anymore. You know what I mean? That level
called them out.
Really did. I mean, that's leadership, and it not that it takes saying things publicly to be a good leader, but you just don't see examples of that kind of leadership very often anymore. So that's why it stuck out to me.
A coach loves that, though, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I think you're exactly right, and it shows why he's so important to that team, I think, too. But I think you're exactly right in that it's not a must-win for the Grizzlies. I almost think Anthony Sain said he was really worried about Ja being out. I understand what he means by that, but, the Grizzlies play so hard every night all year. It's like the one team you can count on in the NBA, almost like the Pistons, a bad team that's only won 18 games. They're going to play hard every night because they don't have a choice. The Grizzlies are on the other side of that. They're playing hard every night while being in second place. And I personally like to. We talked earlier about it's great that Jaren's played all but one game this year, and we don't like how guys sit out. But if everyone in the NBA is sitting out, it's kind of nice to see the Grizzlies have that cushion where they can play like that for the first time all season.
Yeah, but eventually, doesn't it have to catch up with you not having Ja in there?
Oh, certainly. As you get towards the playoffs, we don't even know I keep crediting Anthony Sain, but he made some really good points today about this too, is saying that the Grizzlies are notoriously secretive about everything.
Everything.
This season even, you think about Dylan Brooks, he mentioned last season Brandon Clark's injury. We didn't even know about it until Brandon Clark slipped up and admitted to it in media day earlier this season.
There's a lot we don't know about it, but we can't crack on them if you're winning.
No, not at all. But that's what I'm saying about Ja is we don't know what his status is. This just rest for him to get ready for the playoffs? It doesn't seem like it. No one else is resting.
Didn't appear hurt yesterday. You mentioned comparing the effort to this year Detroit. This Grizzlies team this year, especially as we get into the playoffs, they won a series. I think more people will trying to find somebody to compare them to that's won it in the past. And I go to the Detroit team that upset your Lakers with Larry Brown.
Absolutely. We have to think about that this morning.
Yep. Those guards,
Lindsey Hunter.
They had Rip and they had Chauncey Billups, and they had Lindsey Hunter kind of as their microwave. But they had that guy inside.
Rasheed Ben.
Big Ben. Oh yeah.
Rasheed Wallace was there too.
Yeah. That team could be one people are drawing comparisons to, and I'll never forget during that series. And I've always liked Larry Brown. He called a timeout, and it was during just a key late game moment. And they had the ABC cameras in the huddle. I think Al Michaels was doing the game.
That's that long ago
for ABC that year, and they had the camera and the microphone in the huddle, and you could hear the crowd noise. The Nat sounds great, and he called them on in there. He said, "Guys, listen up. I just want to tell you I love you."
Great timeout.
That was it. That's all he said. He didn't draw anything up. He said, "I just want to tell you I loved you."
Great use of a timeout, and that team is a great one to compare him to. So unique. Corliss Williamson on that basketball
team. 6th man of the year that year, wasn't he?
Really, absolutely. A really good player. Crucial to their success going to the championship, too. I mean, it's such a good comparison. And really great compare. Also, another guy, Darvin Ham, who we talked about yesterday, former Texas Tech Red Raider.
Yeah.
But going,
I saw him almost tear down the Georgia Dome on a dunk.
Yes.
In the NCAA tournament.
Broke the glass once, I believe, at Texas Tech too. But so I love that comparison because of how unique not only the Grizzlies and that Pistons team are, but how unique this NBA season is, and you can kind of compare it to that. How competitive both leagues are. You don't want to play any team when it comes playoff time, and I feel like that almost bodes. It's hard for the Grizzlies because it means the road is tough, but it means it's good news for the Grizzlies too that you can play so competitively and you can really win any of these playoff series.
J-Mo, I actually want to give Anthony Sain some more love, even though I hate doing it, man. So he actually
we get Anthony on the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just an Anthony Sain fist. So earlier today on Grind Time, he actually thought that there was something to Dillon Brooks actually being placed in the starting lineup so early, so soon right now with the way the Grizzlies are playing. He said, hey, when was the last time we saw the photos? When was the last time we saw happy Grizzlies? He said it has been prior to Dilly coming back. He said, with the Grizzlies being so secretive, he said, what if there was a conversation where someone asked Dillon Brooks to come off the bench and he vehemently denied it? He's like, hell no, I'm not coming off the bench. And that kind of has sprinkled, we're not so lovey-doveys anymore at this moment.
He said that earlier too.
Uh-huh.
I think it's
Is it a thing?
It's a great point to make. Dillon Brooks kind of having the, this is a good, both a good and a bad comparison. But Jimmy Butler has a reputation for being a lot like that too. Of being a guy that is not all about him. He's all about the team, but also kind of all about him. You have to believe in yourself, and that's kind of to a fault. Whereas that, but in terms of him coming off the bench, I think it's a great idea. The matchups you get are totally different, and it suits his game so well. Like that I said Jamal Crawford earlier, someone that can take dominant shots and not worry about playing alongside John Morant, or Jaren's got all this money tied up in Jaren for the future.
What if he has to sit a long time?
That would be the problem. But you don't in the NBA, though. It's like what they do with Jaren is they have him playing against reserves, but he starts. They
move him to the 5.
They just bring him out early.
J-Mo Dilly ain't having it. He ain't coming off the bench, man.
No,
I can't see him coming out. I think he would pull a Russell Westbrook before he came off the bench.
But if they were robots and he didn't have an attitude about it,
if he didn't have an attitude about it.
Absolutely.
You guys know me pretty well. I have fun doing the show. I try to smile. I'm smiling because I'm having fun, and also because of the camera. I'm trying to smile.
Yeah.
But the biggest smile of the day came up when you mentioned Corliss Williamson. One of my all-time favorites.
All-time
great
Hawks.
Good player, man. I mean, so good. People. I feel like people
with a
today don't
backside
appreciate
about that big.
One of the biggest guys.
The biggest butts ever.
Man, not even a huge guy.
Scotty Thurman.
6'7". So Scotty, but he's only 6'7". Not a big
close
guy.
To 6'7".
Really, way less.
Wasn't close. Way less.
Yeah, he was more Charles Barkley.
But I mean, even played bigger than 6'7". Where he listed, he played 6'9". I mean, that's the thing that when I'm mentioning these guys that are undersized in the NBA now, that's what's so rare today is these everyone wants to play guard centric and being a 6'7" means that you have to play guard. No, man, if you can body big guys being undersized in the NBA, Brandon Clark is a great example. A guy
Clark Kellogg
plays so much bigger than he is, and that's such a rarity. But between being a big guy that's unselfish and being a small guy that plays big, a rarity in the NBA that is way more valuable because of how rare it is.
Among the many great calls that Pete Pranica has night in and night out on Grizzlies games, and he was great last night doing the national game. He was doing
Nuggets.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
But I love how he is now calling almost every Brandon Clark move. He pogo sticks into the lane.
He does.
And he does.
That's exactly what it looks like. And gets to
almost volleyball player.
Gets to his spot. This is a wild comparison I'm about to make, but in the same way that like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or DeMar DeRozan everyone knows the spot they're trying to get
DeMar
to score.
DeRozan smiling about that comparison.
But everyone knows the spot they're trying to get to score, yet they still get there. And Brandon Clark is the same way. Gets to that same spot in the middle of the lane to shoot that floater. We all know where he's going and gets there every time he wants to.
It's almost like he's making that move that you naturally make to break a zone.
Yeah, it really is.
Slide him to the free throw line, maybe to the semicircle.
Get everyone to collapse and boom.
A great comparison, too, which brings up something I wrote down because I wanted to mention it. You brought up St. Peter's playing that matchup zone, man principles. It freaks college especially. It freaks people out. They don't know, do I run man offense? Do I run zone offense? Because the principles are intertwined.
What do you think you run?
You run man offense.
You run the man offense.
Got to run your man offense.
Dana Kirk said it forever against the zone. You run man. You run the fist offense.
Especially the way they're switching. But that's how everybody plays defense in the NBA now. Is even their man principles have zone principles. And you mentioned the way Brandon Clark beats that like it beats a zone. That's, I think, why it works.
So that Detroit team, it had two former MOPs, most outstanding player of the Final Four, Corliss in 94 for the Arkansas title, and Rip Hamilton in 99.
UConn, yes, absolutely.
UConn's first. That's right. Yeah, UConn's first. The Grizzlies
Khalid El-Amin.
The Grizzlies have they have two on this team, don't they? Tyus Jones and what other MOP of the Final Four on
You ran off the great list of the Grizzlies all time that we've had. I forget.
Had Mario Chalmers on it.
You had Mario. Shane.
Joakim Noah.
Yep, Joakim Noah.
Also had Wayne Ellington.
Wayne Ellington.
Tyus Jones on this current team. Maybe just one.
Yeah, I'm looking through. I don't know who the other one would be, although I loved Kyle Anderson. Oh, Jarrett Culver wasn't an MOP because they lost that game.
He probably would have been in victory.
Maybe would have been. Man,
and Stats, I got some nostalgia for you. Because normally when Gabe is here, I think that there are two generations that are on this show. Because normally everyone's kind of parallel to Gabe's age. So I think right now we actually have three generations right now.
Have three going.
So these names, they may not make you feel old, but I guarantee you, think about this. These are all of some of the pro players that have juniors in college basketball right now. So those names are Tim Hardaway Jr., Larry Nance Jr., Jaren Jackson Jr., and Glenn Robinson. Those are some older names. But think about this. I'm about to make you feel old. Ron Harper Jr.
That's crazy.
Charles O'Bannon Jr. That's making me feel a little old. Scottie Pippen Jr., Jameer Nelson Jr., and I got two more. Donyell Marshall Jr. and Mike Bibby Jr. all playing college ball right now.
Mike Bibby's son, I love.
I can give you another one. I think he was hurt, but playing at Creighton, Mike Miller's son.
Mike Miller's son, that's right.
I just did juniors, but there were more.
Oh, okay.
Yep, there were more. I was only doing juniors.
That's right.
Man, that has to take me aback because I remember Charles and Ed O'Bannon. I remember that UCLA team run.
MOP in 95.
I remember Ron Harper when he was with the Clippers. Scottie Pippen, Jameer Nelson, Philadelphia's own. Donyell Marshall, UConn. Come on.
I didn't even know about Jameer Nelson Jr. He had a great season.
Sure did.
14 points a game this year.
I didn't know about Donyell Marshall.
And speaking of Arizona, like you brought up Arizona earlier when we were talking about your new favorites. There used to be a saying a long time ago, which I'll give it maybe 15 years. If you have pros, you win the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Arizona has pros.
They got pros.
Arizona has pros. And speaking of that, Mike Bibby Jr., like I was saying, Mike Bibby was the heart and soul of that Lute Olson team, him along with Miles Simon. They actually played here in the Sweet 16 game at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Really?
At the Pyramid.
Oh, Pyramid. Yeah, Pyramid.
In
Pyramid.
97.
Not Mid-South. Yeah, Pyramid. I'm sorry.
In 97.
97, yep.
Because then, and I covered those games here, and the next weekend I went to Birmingham when they got out of Birmingham and beat God Sham God in Providence.
God Sham God. How about that? Yeah.
Legend, man.
And
yes.
A beautiful guy, too. He was great to talk to.
I used to love
one
him.
of the best young guys ever to visit with. And someone asked him, the name, what about it? He goes, too much is made out of. First of all, he goes, I didn't name myself. He said, that was my parents. He goes, and why do I kind of get some noise about being named God when so many players in Hispanic world are named Jesus.
Jesus.
Same thing, yeah. He said, they don't ever get that, and I kind of have to answer all these questions. But he was answering those questions, playing for a team named the Friars, a distinctly Catholic school, Providence, in Birmingham, heart of the Bible Belt, on Palm Sunday weekend.
Well, a perfect storm, it seems like that.
And Stats, God Shem God is now a legend in New York. Like, there are moves named after him now. They call him the Shem God and Jillian and things like that.
Oh,
God Shem God is a legend.
They lost in overtime to Arizona in a classic that Sunday afternoon. In Arizona, they went on to win their only one, and Miles Simon went on. He was MOP that year.
Woo.
Mike Bibby was on that team.
Mike Bibby was on that team. Yes, absolutely.
Was on that team. Let's break.
Michael Dickerson?
Was Mike D on
Dickerson?
that team?
I think Dickerson was on that team. Absolutely.
I think he was on that team, and that was a fun group to follow. Kansas got upset and kind of opened up that regional. Arizona was lucky to get out of Memphis by beating Eric Musselman's dad in South Alabama that weekend.
What a connection.
And Eric Musselman's dad was a tightly wound, tough guy. But you mentioned you have to have pros. That's Mike DeCourcy's saying forever.
Absolutely.
And you produce Dave's show and have Mike on all the time, and he's just so great. You got to have pros to win it all.
This weekend, I saw the most pros on Arizona's team.
At certain positions, though, I think. Because I think, I've gone back and forth in Tennessee. I thought they were going to win the national championship. So maybe I'm just explaining away my own idiocy here. But I think that, you need pros, but and not to say Kennedy played bad at all. I don't think he did. But
at 19, didn't he?
No, he played great. But senior, we talk about leadership, and point guard is an intrinsically leadership position. It really helps to have a senior, even if he's a pro too, or just a veteran guy playing that position. And it's not to say Kennedy didn't do anything on the court that he should have done, but just it's a relationship thing at the end of the day when you're on a team, and just having a veteran presence in that position helps a lot.
Somebody I'll challenge you there with, John Calipari. This year he says you didn't have to teach those players how to be on time, this, that, and the third. Right. But I guarantee you he'll trade that in for those one and dones that he won the championship with. He would he would trade them in for Anthony Davis and that team in a heartbeat.
How about a balance then?
The balance actually was UConn. I'm strangely enough, I'm a UConn fan. So you go back to the days of the Jake Voskals and the Khalid El Amins and Rip Hamiltons. Those teams that Jim Calhoun had out, youth as well as leadership from seniors and juniors as well.
Darren, we're short on time. Do you think Jim Calhoun is appreciated enough?
Of course not.
If people rattled off the great coaches of the game, do you think people realize he won 3 and left it where his successor could win a 4th?
Give him another one.
Nope, absolutely not. Nope, he is not appreciated enough. But you wouldn't get too far down the totem pole if you were naming those great coaches.
I think too many people would name Cal ahead of Jim Calhoun.
And I think they would too.
And that's kind of the Kentucky privilege a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we wrap up this Wednesday afternoon with Taco Bell Crunch Time. You're listening to Sports Time.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. When I talk to people about selling their homes or buying one, my motto is stick to your game plan. I learned this from my friend Coach Terry Tippett. Coach. You didn't go into a game without having a plan, did you?
No, Sheldon. Having a plan was critical to the success of all my teams.
That's right, Coach. Sticking to your game plan helped you win 4 state championships.
That's wrong, Sheldon. It was 6, just like the number of shots you make on a par 3.
Well, Coach, we've played golf together. What advice can you give me about my game?
You probably need to stick to real estate, as you're much better at doing that. Or perhaps bowling.
Great advice about real estate, not bowling. And as I always tell people, if they're thinking of selling their home, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and let me be one of them. As they often say, when you want the job done, Coach, who should they call?
Sheldon, of course.
You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
I'm here with Kyle Storms from Big Green Egg. Kyle, I hear people all the time say how they love their Big Green Egg, but what makes a Big Green Egg so great?
Thanks, Stats. The fact that our grill is made out of the highest quality ceramic allows our customers to smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all while locking in the most amount of heat and flavor in their favorite foods.
What kind of fuel does the Big Green Egg use?
100% natural lumpwood charcoal. That's really where half our flavor comes from.
How many sizes does the Big Green Egg come in?
We have 7 different sizes and all different configurations ranging from metal stands, wood tables, and metal carts with a lifetime warranty. So we really do have a size and price point for everyone.
Where can someone go to see the entire lineup of Big Green Egg?
Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, East Memphis Ace, and Cordova Ace Hardware.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
What I learned today, Brett, Kenneth Lofton is not Kenny Lofton's son. I did not know that. But
breaking news.
The important thing I learned today is that Kyrie Irving is going to be back apparently on Thursday.
I had contempt for Kenny Lofton Jr. I feel terrible. I held his dad against him. The sins of the father, and it wasn't even his dad.
Just a bad name, apparently. But Kyrie Irving will be back on Thursday, and that's huge. I think, honestly, I'm not supposed to give an opinion here, but I really think if the Yankees talk, The Yankees.
You got that one
the
right.
fact that the Yankees have
the mayor was dug in.
But the net affecting the Yankees is way more meaningful than affecting the Nets.
Did Steinbrenner make a call?
Yeah, from heaven. That's right.
Long distance call. What are the sale rates on that? What tower does that have to ping off of? You got any answers, Darian?
It was Hal. He said, "Hey, calling on behalf of my dad."
No. The young Steinbrenners, they have a tough task. They get half their dad's friends and all of his enemies.
That's right.
That is a tough break for them. I learned today, first time ever for the Razorbacks to play in an NCAA tournament in the state of California when they will take the court tomorrow night against Gonzaga at the home of the Golden State Warriors, the Chase Center in downtown San Francisco. But it won't be the first time for the Razorbacks to play in San Francisco. Regular season games, 1948, back-to-back nights lose to San Francisco and Stanford.
Is that a bad omen?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It was just in their
either.
game notes, and I thought
That's
it was
right.
great. I thought it was great.
What I could have done without today, obviously on Wednesdays on First Take, you got Mad Dog and Stephen A. I love Chris Mad Dog Russo. And there was a lot of criticism today because Stephen A. was in Memphis. They talked 2 segments about the Grizzlies, and a lot of people around the city didn't like the way they covered the Grizzlies. I would say there's a lot of eyes on that screen. Just be happy they were covering the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know how the whole Elvis debate got started.
Oh, it's
there.
great.
I get. Have you ever been to Graceland?
Oh, I have. Not in a long time, though, but I've been a few times.
Stephen A. said he was seeing billboards around the city of Elvis rather than John Morant. That's how they got on that.
Have you ever been to Graceland?
Yes. I went when I was a child.
I've been many times, and I love it. I hadn't been in a long time. I know a lot of people that don't. Nobody in New Orleans goes, hey, let's meet for a drink at Pato's in the French Quarter. Nobody that lives there does that. And a lot of people here haven't ever been, but I do think it's worth going to see, especially at Christmas time. It's perfect out there. I could have done without. I'm just so happy we're going to have baseball, but all the rules changes again this year really grind my gears. Extra innings, the runner on second. Now the pitcher can stay in after he's been removed as the pitcher. That's the Shohei rule.
Jeez.
We know why we're doing that, and I've been predicting this for a while, and I'm going to keep predicting it till I get it right, or if I move on to the great move on in the cell tower rates that George Steinbrenner has, y'all take up the mantle for me. It's coming one of these days.
It's bad enough. It's bad enough they got a DH. Now they got a new rule, too.
Here's what's going to happen. You can go back in after you've been taken out. You're not burned for the night.
I hope that never happens.
It's going to happen. One of these days, it's going to happen.
Terrible. Keeping a close eye on tonight, Brett, Warriors and Heat. Heat are 10-point favorites. The Warriors are reportedly sitting all their guys tonight. I think the Warriors cover that 10 points.
I'm going to keep a close eye on everything at FedEx Forum, Grizzlies and the Nets, KD, Kyrie, and all that they have against the Grizzlies. Magic number now 9 for the 2 seed. Golden State in Miami. Grizzlies win, Golden State lost, knock a few off that magic number. Hard to believe the Grizzlies are sitting in this great a condition for the 2 seed. And Jazz at Boston, red hot Celtics, 76ers late against Darian's Lakers, and LeBron at Crypto.com. Want to thank Alex Kuhn, Blake Lovell, and Kevin Sweeney for joining us today. Also want to thank you guys. Jay Morgan Harder, great job. Darian Newsom, great job. For Gabe, for Bryant, for Darian, for Jay Morgan, I'm Brett. Good night, everyone.
Get in the swing of things. Grab your friends, your clients, your employees, and go enjoy everything you love about Topgolf in a luxury suite. While at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Topgolf Swing Suite is an immersive social experience offering guests a luxury private lounge to enjoy Erling Jensen's extraordinary